And 690.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
Good afternoon. I'm Steve Lennox from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Clippers trading Eric Bledsoe, Justice Winslow, and Keon Johnson to the Portland Trailblazers for Norman Powell and Robert Covington. 9 games on the NBA schedule on this Friday night, including the 76ers and Mavericks in Dallas, tip 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN television. James Harden not in the lineup tonight for the Nets. They're on the road to face the Utah Jazz. Nets have dropped 6 in a row. Harden is going to miss tonight's game with left hamstring tightness. Duke in North Carolina, tip 6 p.m. Eastern, Saturday night on ESPN. Jay Billis on Coach K's final visit to Chapel Hill.
And all the players know it. Everybody knows this is the biggest game you play in. And outside of a championship game, an NCAA championship game, Final Four thing, which carries a different kind of significance, this is the game where you're remembered how you perform in the Duke-Carolina rivalry. Everybody remembers it, and it's bigger than anything else that they do, and he knows that.
ESPN college basketball analyst Jay Billis on Get Up. Major League Baseball Players Association rejecting MLB's request for federal mediator to enter into labor negotiations. The request was made by Major League Baseball on Thursday.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
There ain't nothing wrong with applying pressure. Pressure can burst pipes, right?
Or it can make diamonds.
So what is it going to be, Mike McCarthy?
This and more, Monday, starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Welcome to Jacksonville, Doug Pederson. That should take place tomorrow. Jaguars on their way to pick him up, bring him back in the morning. And we expect him to be introduced. I haven't seen that officially yet, but I know the expectation is we could get an introduction on a Saturday, which is kind of an odd thing. Don't usually get that, but we will see if that comes to fruition. Doug Pederson, the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has finally done. We can at the very least, we can turn the page a little bit, move this thing forward, and that is comforting. I mean, there was a sigh of relief, right, around this place, and I kind of felt it. We felt it last night. We jumped on and did a little bit and watching social media, and you were up early and talking about it on WOKV and 95.1, and we've been all over the place the last I don't know, what's that, about 17, 18 hours. And I think one thing that you can sense here amongst the Jags fans is one of relief that this whole process is over. It took so long. And that they didn't lose out to the point like you hired somebody who's like, who is that? Yeah. You know who it is. And I think that is a sense of relief. And again, this is a very simplistic thing that a lot of people have said. But if it's January 15th and Doug Pederson gets hired, everybody's like, hey, pretty cool. Good deal.
Absolutely.
Right? But because it took so long, so there's two different things going on. There's a process that nobody likes and really nobody should. Again, that deserves the criticism in my estimation until we get a good explanation. And I'm not sure we can get a good enough explanation to erase some of that. But at the end of the day, whether Shad Khan botched this, took his time, he ends up with what I believe is a very good candidate to be the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So maybe, I'm not sure, nobody wants to give Shad any credit right now. Maybe he knew that he could wait a little bit on Pederson. I mean, he did have interviews with the Saints. He did have interviews, I think, with Chicago and Minnesota along the way. So I'm not sure how he would have known that. Will we find out more about the Byron Leftwiches, the Nathaniel Hackett's of the world and everything else? But again, there's a sense of relief. They got a guy that's raised a Lombardi trophy, and they now have their coach. I think you like the actuality that Doug Pederson is the coach, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love Doug Pederson coming here. He was my second guy on the list. I thought Jim Caldwell was number 1 overall, and I had Doug Pederson number 2 and Byron Leftwich number 3. So I think this is a great hire by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, regardless of where they had him ranked in terms of, where they want him to hire him at, it doesn't really matter. You're getting a guy that's won a Super Bowl that can help Trevor Lawrence out, obviously. That's an offensive-minded coach that might be calling the plays. We'll see how that whole thing, the whole situation goes. But I'm a huge proponent of any guy that came from the Andy Reid coaching tree. And he is one of those guys. So I think it's a great hire. I think he can definitely turn around the bad optics, just the stench that's been left here in the past couple of years in terms of just losing and in terms of a bad culture. I think Doug Pederson can turn all that around.
How much of a positive is it to come from the Andy Reid coaching tree? And you've said that countless times, but now that we get to dissect a certain person, we haven't talked about Doug Pederson. We said this last time. We joked about it. We haven't talked about Doug Pederson like in a length for like weeks. We did it for the leading up to the first interview, around the first interview. We had no idea we'd get to February and 33 days before Pederson would come up again, right? And a lot of us thought, well, maybe the ship has sailed on that. But why do you say the Andy Reid tree? Why do you think it's been effective where like a Bill Belichick tree really has not? Now, Belichick has produced probably more coaches that could fail, but at the same time, he hasn't produced a lot of success either.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's simple. When you talk about the Bill Belichick coaching tree, and I mentioned this before on the show, the reason why teams want guys from the Bill Belichick coaching tree is because you're talking about a coach that's probably the most successful of all time in the NFL. So you want to get guys that have learned his system, that have learned his ways of doing things. But then if you look at the track record of the Bill Belichick coaching tree, their records aren't that great, and a lot of those guys have been relieved of their duties as a head coach. And to me, the reason is because you can't duplicate Bill Belichick of what he does. There's only one Bill Belichick. No matter how hard you try to mimic him, no matter how hard you try to kind of echo the culture building techniques and the defensive building techniques that Bill Belichick has done, you can't mimic that. So then essentially what you get is, I think you get a lot of coaches from the Bill Belichick system that go to their new respective spots, whether it was Houston, whether it was Detroit, and they try to be Bill Belichick, and they can't do it. And they end up, kind of falling on their face a little bit. I think with Andy Reid, Bill Belichick is the best coach because he's so outside the box of how he handles things. It's a very old school way of approaching. It's accountability driven. If you mess up, man, you're gonna sit. If you mess up, you might be gone, depending how much clout and how much resume you built up on the Patriots. I think Andy Reid's a little differently. Andy Reid is more of a player's coach where he keeps a loose environment. He keeps things fun. Of course, he expects a lot out of his players, but you look forward to going to work every single day, for Andy Reid. I'm not sure if you can say the same thing about Bill Belichick all the time. We've heard players in the past, Danny Amendola, come out and say, hey, yeah, we won a lot, but it wasn't fun. I think any player set aside from Le'Veon Bell, but he had his own grudges with Andy Reid. But I think any other player that's played for Andy Reid, that's had success with Andy Reid, will tell you that he's a fun guy to play for. So I think that's number one thing right now is you to get a player-friendly coach in Doug Pederson, because I think Doug Pederson can mimic a lot of things that Andy Reid does. Now, just because Doug Pederson comes from Andy Reid doesn't mean they're the exact same person. I mean, I take a look at Sean McDermott and say, well, there's drastic differences between Sean McDermott's coaching style and Andy Reid's coaching style. But when you look at Doug Pederson being a former offensive coordinator underneath Andy Reid, being a former quarterback himself, I think there are a lot of similarities. And I think in terms of grooming a quarterback, getting the best out of your quarterback, help calling the offensive plays, I think Doug Pederson has that. So I think there's a lot to like in terms of, that Andy Reid coaching tree, it speaks for itself. If you see all the guys that have come before that have been underneath Andy Reid, and also obviously the success that they've had so far along the way.
Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz here on a Friday in Jacksonville. It's February 4th. The Jags have a new coach. It's Doug Pederson. And, it's funny that you bring up what I see in Andy Reid and Doug Pederson are I've seen the meeting rooms where he's got his shirt untucked, and I picture Andy Reid in the Bahama, the Tommy Bahama shirt or whatever, and he's giving out cheeseburgers, and obviously there's ice cream for Doug Pederson. That's a thing. You've seen it on the internet, which is a pretty good thing. And by the way, once in a while I come up with a really good idea. I think it's a good idea. You probably don't, but Casey definitely won't. But
okay,
what kind of ice cream flavor would you consider the hire of Doug Pederson?
I mean, better
than vanilla?
My second favorite. So, I mean, I'm a Blue Moon guy. I love Blue Moon ice cream.
Beer?
Do we have the beer?
No. Oh, you guys have such an ice cream game up.
You talking about Blue Bell?
No, man, Blue Moon ice cream. You guys are. How are we gonna talk about ice cream and neither know what Blue Moon ice cream is?
I know what Blue Moon beer is.
It's a flavor of ice cream. It's blue. Blue Moon.
I hope it's
Obviously.
blue. It better be blue.
Well, is Blue Moon beer blue?
That's a good point.
Okay, then. So I stand corrected. Listen, I mean, what's second? I'm gonna say like, I don't know, man.
Mint chocolate chip?
Yeah, sometimes
Everybody likes
it
mint
tastes
chocolate
like
chip, right?
Yeah, it's too pasty though sometimes, man.
But like,
I
don't like mint chocolate chip like my second favorite, but I know like a lot of people do.
Yeah.
How about like chocolate chip cookie dough?
Yeah, that's a good one. I like chocolate chip cookie dough.
Blue Moon is found mainly in Midwest Wisconsin in particular. That's what it says on Wikipedia.
I'll tell you what, the guy didn't kill ones in Jacksonville. That's all you had to say to me.
Do they really?
Yeah. Yeah, like all like the gourmet ice cream shops got Blue Moon.
It's very good, Dan. Very good. Some say vanilla. I knew you guys take the easy way out if you're saying vanilla. It's not a vanilla move.
I like vanilla ice cream, tell you the
I do
truth.
too, by the way. But at the very least, it's French vanilla.
Yeah.
You know, add a little style to that vanilla. But it's not a vanilla move. Vanilla means bland. Like, that's not a bland move. The guy's got a Lombardi trophy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't tell me that's vanilla. The guy wrote a book called out Doug Marrone. Like, I mean, he's got Philly special. He's got a statue in Philadelphia. There's no people eating vanilla ice cream with statues.
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
except Ben and Jerry.
What do you got, Casey?
But they don't even have vanilla ice cream.
I'm thinking like peanut butter cup because I
love peanut butter cup.
If you like peanut butter cup, you like it, but it's not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like it, you don't like it.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
little overkill on the sweet side sometimes. I can see people hating on that.
Gosh, I threw Rachel off like big time. She says, my God, I can't handle this day anymore on here. Like, just because I asked the kind of ice cream.
Probably because you guys don't know what Blue Moon ice cream is.
Oh, maybe that was it.
Can you bring some in then?
And can we be honest here? It is 3:11 into our show. We are 11 minutes into our show, and we have not opened an envelope yet.
Oh, well,
we got
the envelope.
I've been waiting so long for this. This has been the only shining light of this horrible process of trying to find a coach.
Hey, let's not forget what I said yesterday. Who's in here? Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
By the way, that stat boy says the whole process was rocky road.
I like that.
Very good.
I like that.
Very good. Dan, you should come on the show more. I like it. How important is it to have somebody who appears to be likable? We're going to have someone from Philly on at 4:30. By the way, Clay Harbor is scheduled to join us in the 5 o'clock hour. I played for him. I was like, hey, that's good. A little Jags. He knows what it means here in Jacksonville.
Sure.
And, of course, Casey's like, is that the Bachelorette guy?
Oh, yeah, he wasn't didn't he get hurt on The Bachelorette?
He got hurt playing football, broke his wrist.
Yeah.
But then he was
on the show?
On the show. He had to leave, unfortunately. And then Bachelor in Paradise, he was on that as well.
There you go.
Oh, really? He's on back-to-back Bachelors?
A little run on there.
Yeah, he was on Paradise.
Wait, so do you watch The Bachelorette?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you know Dale Moss? You know, Dale Moss actually won it because the girl took him home.
Familiar with Dale, yeah.
We had the same agent, man. I used to hang out with Dale Moss back in the day.
Really?
South Dakota State Jackrabbits.
Well, depending on who you ask, he's not that good of a dude.
Want to go in on the Jackrabbit trivia again?
Say what?
Want to go in on the Jackrabbit trivia again?
Let's do it, man.
Delphonic says, have a great show, fellas. I'm just here for the envelope. We'll get the envelope.
Aren't we all?
How important is it to have a guy, at least that I think many will say, and I've heard, and we've been talking about that, right, that he's a good guy? Like, am I overplaying that a little bit? Like, I understand, like, you need wins and you need other things, but he seems like he will be good for the building. We talked about this a lot last night, but I've mentioned this a couple of times. People that, he comes with that, whatever split with Philadelphia, right? Like, however it happened.
Well, and that was bad, though, even in the locker room as well. Some players, supposedly, now you know how the media gets, but some players want to go after him after the whole Jalen Hurts debacle.
Yeah, and by the way, like, there are also players that have really vouched for him too.
Sure.
Right. Like, and so again, I'm not saying it's 100% like approval rating.
But we were very critical about how he handled Jalen Hurts when he brought Nate Sudfeld in the third quarter. I mean, I remember talking about it on the show.
Yeah.
Like we were very critical about the decision because it seemed like Not sure if that was the case, but it seemed like they were trying to get a better draft pick.
I think, listen, you can question some of the things, how it went down. I don't know whose fault it was, how much of it was on Pederson.
Well, he said it was on him.
Yeah.
He said it was his call.
Again, no, I'm just saying the whole thing, getting fired and everything else, you know. But the bottom line is, like, if you talk to people in that Philly building that worked with him, if you talk to folks that I mean, heck, I talked to Josh Scobie this week, who actually just played golf with him a little bit because they both went to Louisiana Monroe, right? So if you talk to folks like that have been around him, he's a good guy. And I think for the people in this building that have been around the Urban Meyer stuff and at least the shadow or cloud of whatever the Trent Baalke thing is, and just some of the dysfunction of the last couple of years, whether it was, not saying everybody was a bad person in there, but from the Jan stuff to the Ramsey stuff to the Coughlin stuff, they've had to, like, deal with all this stuff. Like, my view on, like, Caldwell and Pederson of the whole idea of them being hired was not only they were second go-around or even third go-around guys. Louisiana Tech, sorry. That's right. Scobie did go there. I always make Scobie go to Louisiana Monroe. But my view of this was, hey, settle the organization down. That's why Caldwell and Pederson to me made sense. Like, settle it down. They know how to win football games. They know what it's supposed to look like, and they can probably settle it down. And I think just like the good nature of Pederson might allow for a little bit of that to happen. And I said it last night on our show, I think, Casey. I was like, you know, players go in for treatment on Monday, and they might look forward to punching the key card. You know, I'm not sure that was the case the last year. Really, I'm not sure that was definitely not always the case. Right?
End, absolutely. Yeah.
So is there something to that? And I know there's more to it. I'm not saying you can just listen. Gus Bradley would have won 4 Super Bowls if good guys only mattered, right?
Yeah.
But is there something to that, at least at this juncture, that could benefit the Jaguars? And really, as you look at it, going toe to toe and hand in hand with Trevor Lawrence.
I mean, yeah, I think as long as you can gain the players' respect, that's all I'm worried about, you know, because at the end of the day, if the players respect you and they work hard for you and they listen, then you got a good shot at winning football games. And I think Doug Pederson is capable of that. So I think from trying to earn the respect of a locker room, you know, having the credential of a Super Bowl champion is going to go a long way. Once again, I think coming from the Andy Reid system goes a long way. So, yeah, I think as long as he can earn the respect of that locker room, things are going to be good.
If you locked in the last night around midnight as Casey came in and we did about an hour of a show, if you've heard Austin all day and me all day on TV and a little bit of social media, yes, we've been talking about some of these topics, but I haven't talked about them all with Austin. And one of the things that I've been mentioning and asking, is this the right guy for Trevor Lawrence? If you could, this was all about Trevor, right? It was all about Trevor. Everything's been about Trevor, with all due respect to everybody else.
Yeah.
But we know that's the most important piece of the organization. And so if you could line everybody up, Austin, and you knew, like, these first set of interviews were happening. Let's go all the way back to, like, January 10th. And the first set of interviews, we knew they were going through a lot of people. So take Kevin O'Connell out of it, right? Okay. Because we didn't know he was going to be in the mix down the road. Would you say this is the best guy for Trevor Lawrence?
I think he's tied for second. I think Caldwell would have been the best guy. I think Doug Pederson and Byron Leftwich, it's 2A and 2B. I think Doug Pederson, just because of obviously the resume, winning a Super Bowl, you know, I mean, he was a big part of Nick Foles being a Super Bowl MVP and all that great stuff. But I'm still reminded of how it went with Carson Wentz towards the end. And I think 2B would have been Byron Leftwich. So I think they're comparable. I have to knock Byron Leftwich because he's never been a head coach. Even though he's won a Super Bowl ring calling plays for the Buccaneers, he's never been a head coach per se. So I think it's the second best option.
Yeah, I think it's maybe semantics. I think that's why we like those 3 guys. I think we agreed. I think a lot of people agreed, right? We liked Caldwell. And I would say this. I think I liked Caldwell more for the man that I thought he was or is. I don't know him, but I really thought of all the settling down and stop just the dysfunction, I thought people would really respond to him, and he knew he wouldn't be in it for himself that much. He's like, hey, let's just go do what's best for the Jags, right? Let's do what's best. So I never really envisioned Caldwell as much, wow, look what he can do for Trevor. I thought what he could do for the organization. And not to say it would be bad for Trevor. I know he has plenty of experience around quarterbacks and good ones.
Peyton Manning being one of those guys.
But I do think I put Pederson ahead because, in my estimation, when I've seen Nick Foles and when I've seen Carson Wentz play their best football, him and Frank Reich and that staff were a part of making those guys play their best football. And I think there's a pretty good dynamic between their best and what else they've played under Pederson and in other spots. Now, Chip Kelly, again, I think you have to mention a little bit because 27 touchdowns and 2 picks for Nick Foles. So that's what I really like about Pederson. And again, I think there's a lot to like about Byron Leftwich. You know, I mean, I think you could even state this case. I think you could bring Hackett into the conversation here. You got Blake Bortles playing the best football that he ever played in his life, if that's the measuring stick.
Yeah. I guess with Hackett, though, because he wasn't really calling the plays in Green Bay, that's the only knock I would have on Hackett.
In Green Bay.
Correct.
Yeah,
because, I mean,
that reference point would come back to Jacksonville for me.
Yeah, of course, because he's getting the job because the success of the Green Bay Packers, and I get that. But, you know, you weren't calling the plays, though. So, I mean, I would put Hackett in the third tier.
So, I guess from what I'm getting at here is I feel so much better about this than Eberflus. And nothing against Eberflus. Might be a great coach. But I didn't know what else was going to go into it, right? And who are you getting to help Trevor out? You know, Bisaccia late in the game. Like, he was going to have to make a really big offensive coordinator hire. You know, I think a lot of the other guys were offensive guys. I thought a little bit of Green and not enough experience in the Kellen Moore situation. That's not factual. I just thought that from afar. So it's I like it because of Trevor. I mean, if you're doing what's right by Trevor Lawrence right now, because last year it feels like the organization did everything wrong around him. I think this is a very positive move, even if it's up for debate whether someone would rather have Byron work with Trevor or Caldwell work with Trevor. It's certainly a good conversation and a good landing spot from Trevor Lawrence's point of view. I would think Trevor's pretty excited today.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's good.
Great, yeah.
I mean, that guy pretty excited.
Yeah, you saw, I think it was on Instagram or Twitter, he said, you know, it's time to get to work, so absolutely.
And I think Schefter put it out like he had talked to him earlier.
Sure.
I don't think, by the way, I don't think Trevor was a major part of this process in any way.
Do you think he's even asked?
I don't know if he was kept in the loop. I don't want to speculate on that. I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm just asking, do you think?
I don't have a good feel that he was. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if sometime in the 35 days or whatever this whole thing that Trevor reached out to Schott. It's like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
And he might have filled him in a little bit. You know, maybe. I don't know. I really don't know that. I'm guessing, and maybe I'm hoping.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping as well. Do you think he's going to have any input on the draft?
I don't know, man. This is a day and age where I guess you could say yes. Is it fair to also ask, has Trevor earned that yet? As a second-year guy? Like,
did Joe Burrow earn it?
Yeah, that's fair. I guess it's a situation. Is he just going to be asked in a situation where it's like, hey, you played with Justin Ross. What do you think about him? Yeah, I really want him, man. Go up and get him. If he's going to, 4th round on our board, go get him late in the 3rd round or middle of the 3rd round because I want that guy. You know, it's not a guy at the top of the draft. I think Joe Burrow was a little bit unique in the fact that, hey, they really could have gone offensive lineman, but they got this excellent guy right there at their pick that he played with.
True.
That he played with.
Yeah.
So, listen, I'm okay if they do it. I just don't want to – I don't have a good feel for that yet. I hope so because the more they involve this kid in the organization, I think the better. And I think that has to happen, and communication's a big part of it. Who is in the envelope? Should we do it when we come back?
Yes,
you
please.
think so? You want to do it? You guys just can't wait.
Well, it's been like, how many? It's been 3 weeks?
I told him last night, we've had nothing to look forward to.
Nothing.
In 30 days.
Nothing.
Fine. We'll open the letter when we come
Can't
back.
wait.
The envelope. Sorry, it's not a letter. I didn't write anything. I want to now, though. We'll be back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Breezy and warm today with sunshine gradually giving way to clouds and a few late-day showers with highs in the low 80s near record highs. On and off showers and turning much cooler tonight near 50 by morning. And Saturday will be mostly cloudy and chilly. Still some morning showers and drizzle. Highs only in the mid-50s. I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Get the guaranteed lowest price at the only locally owned diamond store in the St. John's Town Center.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you 24/7 with supplies and solutions for every industry and access to product specialists ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Love is in the air, and if you're celebrating yours, you can save thousands now through February 14th. Valentine's at Beard's Diamonds.
Hundreds of specially designed one-of-a-kind pieces have been sale priced at BeardsDiamonds.com.
Like a 6-carat diamond tennis bracelet.
Retail $10,465. Beard's special Valentine price $6,802.
You save over $3,500.
Or 2-carat diamond solitaire earrings. Retail $7,800. Beard's Valentine price $5,070.
You save over $2,700.
And just in time for Valentine's, how about a Circle of Love 1-carat diamond necklace? Retail $1,350. Beard's Diamonds price $877.
See hundreds more at BeardsDiamonds.com. And if you're getting engaged this Valentine's, Beard's Diamonds has the largest selection of engagement rings and GIA certified loose diamonds at the lowest prices in Jacksonville. Guaranteed.
Find out more at the St. John's Town Center or at BeardsDiamonds.com. Check out our website for this week's Sunday specials. Get the lowest prices in Jacksonville, guaranteed at Beard's Diamonds.
One of the more difficult issues facing small businesses today is having enough work to keep good employees. What if your business was affected by a sudden or extended drop in income because of COVID-19? What can be done to ensure that the people who are your top performers remain with you? Many of our SCORE volunteers have faced similar situations and willing to share their expertise. Take advantage of the opportunity to gain their knowledge by registering to participate in a SCORE webinar or schedule a free confidential meeting with a counselor at jacksonville.score.org.
Forever Vets Pet Resort at Durbin is officially open. Whether you're looking to board your pet during a vacation or looking for a place for them to play during the day, look no further. Forever Vets Pet Resort has officially opened its doors with roomy, climate-controlled indoor play areas for big and small dogs, shaded outdoor play areas with a splash zone, and private cat condos including access to a cat tree-filled oasis. Your pet will feel right at home. Forever Vets Pet Resort will provide a comfortable place for your pets while you're away and ensure your four-legged friend is safe and happy during their stay. Take advantage of a free day of play to all new clients. And if you purchase one night of boarding, you'll receive half off your next night. Want to learn more? Give us a call or go to forevervets.com. You can also stop by for a free facility tour. We're open 7 days a week with extended hours for your convenience. Forever Vets Pet Resort at Durbin is now open for reservations.
Water stains on the shower glass. Try rubbing some shaving cream on them.
Tyler's cleaning crew knows every housekeeping trick in the book.
Handling timesheets now.
But they need a proper bookkeeper to keep finances tidy.
New equipment is a business expense, right?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
If I'm going to work from my home office, I need my home office to work for me.
It's possible at Staples. To be most productive, my home office needs to have everything my office has. Also possible because your local Staples store has the tools your business needs to get work done from home. And right now, you can save up to 40% on select chairs to put the finishing touch on your home office. Explore what's new at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 2/26. In-store only while supplies last.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Smart speakers are becoming part of everyday life, so why not use it to listen to the radio? Tell Alexa, Google Home, or any other speaker to play ESPN 690. Give it a shot weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
Well, I think it's a good fit. I think Pederson, it's kind of weird how that ending in Philadelphia quickly happened, even though they won a Super Bowl. So I think that talking with some of my friends who have played for him, he's definitely a a very good motivator because he believes in his players. The players believe in him, so they play hard for him. And I think at the end of the day, that's all you want. You want your players to play as hard as they possibly can for their head coach.
I really have no idea who that is.
Is that a former player?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely a former player. But didn't say he played under Pederson. He knows people who did.
Yes. And it's not Chris Canty.
Did he play under Pederson?
I don't think so.
Okay. But is it Chris something?
No.
Okay, never mind then. That was Chris Long.
No.
But he played under Pederson.
Yeah, you get Long on here.
Yeah, I should hit him up. Yeah, I'll see what's up with him.
Was he on The
Next week.
Bachelorette? Then
No,
I'm not really interested.
Chris Long wasn't.
Yeah,
no.
I know.
He's got some
I
fun
just hung out with
stories,
him on Bourbon Street one night.
Rob Ninkovich.
They're the most New England Patriot name of all time. I mean, that guy's not playing anywhere else. He's not playing in Duval with that kind of name.
Maybe not. All right, what's in the envelope?
Man.
So let's tell the envelope story in case you're just jumping in. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. We're here every day, 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. in your car, on your stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Ask Alexa, just about everywhere, right? And so this happened what's the date on there? January 19th?
January 19th.
So that's over 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And so what happened was I was basically told on this day, or the night prior, maybe it was like the night prior. I was told hey, this is going to be the next head coach.
Yes.
And so I was like, that's cool. I could see this person knowing and having a really good feel for it.
Okay.
And this is, by the way, in no way, shape, or form to call them out. I appreciated the heads up a little bit. And so I looked into it, but there's I didn't confirm that, couldn't confirm that, didn't go anywhere. And so I wasn't going to report it. And, but I was keeping my eye on it. And so I didn't want to tell you guys who it was because I didn't want basically the conversation to start rallying around that person.
Sure.
I didn't want to spin it and kind of get it in your heads as well, what I had heard.
Now, has this person given you other information?
Along the way, yes.
Okay.
And so I said, I'm going to put this in an envelope. I told the family. I was like, I'm going to put this in an envelope so you guys know if this happens, one, it's a heck of a source. And two, I'm not going to be the guy that's like, I told you, I heard that it was this and this guy, and then you guys would be forced to have to believe me.
Sure.
So that's really why I put it in the envelope. I'm like, watch, I'm going to be right on this sucker now. I got this, but I don't want you guys questioning whether I'm right.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
So that's how we got here.
Now,
So you told the family?
I did, yeah.
Should have hit up Ty.
So the way it went down is we were doing our coaching picks of where our predictions were going to be, who's going where.
Yeah.
And then Brent
That
threw
was
in.
2 days later, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you threw in at the end, oh, by the way, I gave Casey an envelope. And in the envelope, who's, I think, according to somebody, the next Jaguars head coach is going to be.
Yeah.
And you said it may not be the same person that you predicted in our game.
Yeah.
You predicted Nathaniel Hackett.
I did.
Casey, final answer. Who is Brent having this envelope?
Doug Pederson.
You think Doug Pederson?
Said it yesterday. It's unfair. I said it during the commercial break.
But that'd be awesome.
You think it's Doug Pederson?
I'm standing by it.
Do you think it's Doug Pederson or not? Who do you think?
I think if it was if it was Hackett or if it was Eberflus, I can't believe we've rolled this whole thing till this point.
Yeah, but I told you I was not opening it. You guys wanted to open this earlier. As soon as somebody got a job, you were like, hey, I want to open it. And I was like, no, I'm waiting until the end.
But when we said that this person already got hired in a job, we should open it up.
You did say that.
Yeah, because
I didn't
what's the
agree with
point?
that.
Okay.
Because here we are. Every show, I got people asking for the envelope. I was pretty smart.
Telling you, we gotta put everything in envelope.
All right, so I'm taking an educated guess here. Brent is hell-bent on thinking that Balky's still good. Do you still think he's going to get resigned? He's going to get let go?
Well, I thought the whole time. I stuck to my guns on that, yes.
And I don't think that source put that in your head. So I think the Balky thing's got something to do with it, him staying. So to me, it would be a guy who would want to work with Balky. And I think it would be a guy from the first cycle. So I think Matt Eberflus is in this envelope. And if that's the case, I'm going to be super disappointed. So you ready to go?
Let's go.
All right, let's get it.
You guys are going to be disappointed either way, maybe. Unless it's Pederson.
Watch it be Jim Caldwell.
Nathaniel Hackett.
That's terrible.
I knew you guys weren't going to like the outcome. What did you want it to be?
I wanted it to be where if he got a new job if he got a job, we could stop playing the game, and you would stop dragging us along.
No, I dragged you into it all the way.
Yep.
I was told a week before, more than a week prior to Nathaniel Hackett even asking for a second interview and getting the Denver job and then potentially sweeping in. And by the way, there has been nothing since then, I will say that, not just from this person, but from other walks. And even, I think Ian Rappaport said it today. I think we might have some sound we could play a little bit later on Rappaport because he had a lot to say in like a minute time. I thought it was interesting. But that I still think Hackett was pretty high on their list. It's debatable on where and would they have offered it or how it would have gone. There was an article that came out about Eberflus actually in Chicago, how they replayed that. I think we talked a little bit yesterday. That Eberflus on the Thursday after, which would have been 2 days after Byron Leftwich last week, and a day after Hackett had taken the job with Denver, and Eberflus takes the Chicago job. And there's a story in The Athletic on that whole unraveling of the job process that kind of insinuates that he got offered. He basically had the Jags offer too if he wanted it. Now he insinuates that. We don't know that. But yeah, I think Hackett was in play the whole time, even though. So here's the difference. I fibbed to you guys a little bit because I didn't want to pick when we did our coaching stuff.
Yes.
Who was in the envelope? I really didn't want to.
But you did.
I did because as we were talking it out at the time, it made sense to me because I thought Leftwich was actually going to go get a second interview in Chicago, right? And so I thought he was going to end up picking the Chicago job at that moment when we were doing that kind of like, hey, what do we think is going to happen? And so I was like, watch this. They have not come back around on Pederson. They have not come back around on Caldwell. Leftwich is going to not take the gig, and then that's going to leave a guy like Hackett that will make some sense. And so I didn't think it was like one of their top three options potentially in the moment. But the more you kind of find out, I think that he was very high on their list.
Stop the cap.
All right.
I'm sorry. Like I know this was disappointing for you, but I don't really know what would have been. Like you would have been mad at me if I picked Pederson.
Well, I'm the most upset because you said it wasn't the same guy that you picked in the. So I mean, first of all, it's one thing to be disappointed in the pick. It's another thing to sit there and lie to us.
Well, I couldn't tell you.
That's terrible. It's a double whammy.
I was in a tough spot.
Hey, you know what I'm gonna do? We're banning envelopes from this show. That's done.
Justin, we were so close to the post office.
Never do that again. First envelope I see when I get home, I'm throwing the envelope out. Could be for my grandma. I don't care. I'm throwing envelopes out. I'm over envelopes now.
Listen, like I thought it was pretty good poker right there, at the very least.
Yeah.
Neither one of you guys guessed that it was Hackett in the envelope.
Because you told us it wasn't Hackett.
I appreciate you thinking that I was going to play up my word.
Hey, what did we learn about this exercise, Casey? What did we learn today? Brent's a liar.
Brent's a liar.
There we go.
This is just horrible.
I mean,
Casey, you sound so disappointed.
I'm crushed.
I am crushed too.
What did you want it to be, Pederson?
Well, I love being right, but
yeah, you do.
Pederson would have been cool. Leftwich would have been something.
Timmy says the envelope was a horrible idea. Listen, man, like I didn't know the envelope was going to become this big of a thing.
But you made it a big thing when you said that next head coach is going to be in the envelope.
I think the envelope was a great idea. I just think poor execution.
Oh no, we're done with the envelopes. I'm not doing that ever again. I slept. I stayed up at night for like 10 days and like 10 nights in a row, like just contemplating, trying to play this out in my head. I thought I had a good educated guess. You know, like I was like conspiracy theorist here. Like it's got to be somebody that we're not really talking about. And I thought it was gonna be Eberflus.
You should have seen me. I was in here before the show, like holding my flashlight on the thing, like trying to go.
The magic, whatever. The magic pen.
This is so bad.
Well, I hope the source is listening.
I don't know who I'm mad at. Bryant the
I've never relinquished a source. I was just.
Oh, that's cool. Please don't, because I don't want to talk to that dude. Nathaniel Hackett
had some good offensive. Had some good information along the way, by the way.
So okay. To bring this whole thing full circle, though. So in that prediction, did they also say that Trent Baalke would be relieved of his duties?
Did not say it.
Did not say that.
Did not say at the time, but like I think it was real, by the way, that Hackett didn't want to work with Baalke.
Okay.
Right, and I think that was something that had been out there a little bit.
Yeah.
And by the time like Wednesday night rolled around when he took the Denver job, I think that was very much a real thing.
Yeah.
You know, and much like it might come out if Leftwich talks or that's probably the case too, right? That happened last week. So.
Can we like the dump button for like the past hour and just redo this whole thing and say
for
it was
the past 3 weeks
and say it was somebody else? I'm trying to help you out, man.
I'm not. Listen, I'm fine. I tried to set this up. This has nothing to do with me.
But you lied. It's got everything to do with you.
Well, one was a prediction and one was a source. Like, I could still have the same prediction no matter what.
You said it didn't match the name that you gave out.
No, I just could. I had to put my poker face because I didn't want to give it up.
Okay.
It was a radio thing by then. I couldn't absolutely tell you that I'd pick the same guy. I came so close a couple of times accidentally.
Yeah.
All right. And by the way, Michael just had a good idea. We bring the envelope back for the first pick in the draft.
No, I'm not doing that.
Okay, so I thought about that. I like that.
But you can all do an
I'm back in on envelopes. Like, you'll get excited about it.
No.
Yeah, you will.
I'm so hurt that I'm done with envelopes. You guys can have fun with them. I'm done.
I guess we missed. I mean, I didn't expect to hurt anybody's feelings in the envelope game. I was really just trying to find out. I just didn't want you guys to, if it was right all these weeks later, to say, Brent, don't come back here and tell me you knew that 3 weeks ago. That's it. That was really my own motivation.
Feelings aren't hurt, man. Just disappointed, though. Just big time
steal
disappointed.
The line from Big Diesel? I'm not mad, Brent.
No.
I'm just disappointed. He just said
that's what he said.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess we're sharing a brain because that's how I'm feeling right now.
All right. Hey, Big Diesel. That's a worse. There are worse nicknames.
We teased this thing forever,
I
too.
know. I was.
Oh,
hey,
man.
By the way,
see, but that's why I said you had an out.
By the way, for you guys, right? As you continue to tease it, I'm like, oh, man, they're going to be so disappointed.
Well, that's why you should have said, hey.
The whole time.
But, Brent, I gave you an out. I gave you an out and said, if this guy's been already selected as a coach, we can just back out right now and say it.
You couldn't do that.
What were you thinking when Hackett got the job in Denver?
Think we were going to think about the envelope?
Like, how long did it take you, and then your head was like, oh, yeah, the envelope?
No.
Like, I know it wasn't first.
I'll be honest. When I knew here's when I knew the envelope part wasn't right.
Okay.
I'll give you guys a hint, okay? Because this... let's do the timetable real quick, and then we'll move on and talk about the front office of the Jags. But the timetable of it was the 19th. So that goes back, I think, a couple of Tuesdays ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
It might be Tuesday. And so the next week, the next Tuesday, which would have been last Tuesday, not this past one, but the last one, that was when the Leftwich stuff started flying, right? And then Hackett gets the job on a Wednesday, okay? Right after the Leftwich stuff was going on. And so, but based on what I was told and what I put in the envelope and why I put it in the envelope, I knew Monday after Green Bay lost that the envelope stuff wasn't spot on.
Dude, Green Bay lost.
Because when Green Bay lost, we would have seen something happen really quick on Hackett. It wouldn't have waited until a Thursday second interview.
Yeah.
Like if this person was right like a week prior, as soon as they lost, they would have jumped on him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they were like, hey, he's the number one guy. It's going to be top guy. It's going to be it. Blah, 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 blah. So as soon as that didn't take place in the hours after the Green Bay loss and the next day, I was like, okay, well, the envelope still could be right, but I don't think at least the timing and immediacy of what I had heard was correct.
But then you said you thought Hackett was their top guy.
Well, I actually thought he maybe was their top guy based on Wednesday's stuff. Yeah, that was based on Wednesdays in Denver swooping in.
Okay.
And by the way, I just painted the picture of could he be their top guy. I've never said like I really think he was their top guy. I think I've thought about it a lot, and I think that he was very much in play at the top of their list. I really do. Like I think when we were lost in the Leftwich stuff last week, I think it's a very plausible scenario, and I don't know if we'll ever find this out. I think it's a very plausible scenario that the Jags actually got swooped in by Denver on the Hackett stuff, and nobody criticized them for it. Like, it's possible. And maybe they saw that coming. Maybe that's why things sped up a little bit with Leftwich. Who knows? So again, there's a lot that we just don't know about the process and where Shad's mind was and how far along they were with some of these situations. I think that's crystal clear. So shoot the envelope into the sun, says Timmy.
Yep. Amen to that.
Horrible.
Let's put the envelope through a table.
Okay, there's a big part of this. Okay, let's move on. Envelope's done. I'm sorry. It was such a disappointment. I'll buy you guys some ice cream for Doug Pederson.
Anything but Blue Moon.
It's good, dude. You got to try it.
I got to go try it.
You got to try it. It's good.
I'm thinking about doing the show.
My son knows what I'm talking about over here.
Doing the show and giving Kilwins free advertising in the first, 25 people that stop by. I'll buy them Blue Moon ice cream. Just for the envelope being not as received as well as I'd hoped.
Start lining up now.
So maybe that will happen soon. Pay my debts.
There you go.
When we come back, what's front office look like now? Do we know anything? Like, where does that land? And there's another shoe to drop here and another emotional shoe that's attached to the Doug Pederson hire. How do we feel about it here on a Friday? We talk about it next on ESPN 690.
What's up? It's Casey of Action Sports Jacks, and I have more brand new local coverage to tell you about. Every Monday and Thursday after Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 from 3 to 6, we're giving you more of what you want, more Action Sports Jacks. From 6 to 6:30, myself, Casey Kurtz, and Brian Middleton will bring you Action Sports Jacks Overtime. There's a lot of topics in sports, and sometimes we can't hit them all from 3 to 6. We'll hit them all on OT. So join us 6 to 6:30 every Monday and Thursday night right here on ESPN 690.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good, really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Ready for an oil change? We can help get the right protection at the right price. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Daily Protection or Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil with an STP oil filter for just $28.99. Visit one of our 6,000 stores or order from AutoZone.com for same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Now is the time to get an estimate on replacement windows. American Window Products of Jacksonville is a high-volume dealer offering a huge selection of products to keep your costs low. New windows from American Window Products can lower your energy costs and increase your curb appeal and security, all without breaking the bank. Call American Window Products for a free estimate at 904-667-0873 or visit AmericanWindowProducts.com.
Did you know that you have the power to positively impact a local child's life? It's as easy as donating to Daniel, Florida's oldest child service agency. Daniel provides counseling to abused children. Daniel helps homeless teens find shelter and learn to live independently. Daniel connects kids with foster families and strengthens at-risk families so they can stay together. They've done all this and more for 135 years. Please become a part of improving the lives of local children and families by donating at danielkids.org today.
Today, we want to wish the USO a very happy birthday. The Players is proud to support the USO of Greater Jacksonville, which helps keep our service members connected to family, home, and country. It's 32 days until the Players.
Do you know why you see so much camera footage of crimes? Wasn't the camera supposed to deter the crime in the first place? That's because they weren't safe touch cameras. You don't want to see someone breaking into your car. You want to see it before it happens. That's what safe touch cameras do. They alert you via text or video notification beforehand, giving you time to react to the situation. And safe touch cameras have 24/7 video storage in the cloud, the safest and securest way to store important events that only you, the safe touch customer, control. And here's the best news yet. You can get the safe touch surveillance system with 3 color cameras, 24-hour recording, secure storage for as little as $39.95 per month, including 24/7 service, cloud storage, and camera warranty. Camera installation is additional charge. This system will work with any security system or no security system at all. Or bundle the 2-way communicator package for additional savings. Find out how you can get a free survey and demonstration at safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana. Taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Listen to ESPN 690 anytime, anywhere, on any device. Whether you're at home or on the go, get the latest on the Jags, FSU, the Jumbo Shrimp, and Action Sports Jacks on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com or on ESPN690.com.
I think let's have a great couple weeks of preparation where it gives guys a chance to go in and play with a quieted mind, trust themselves, and go play to the best of their ability. You're not going to minimize what a great opportunity these players have earned. And that's what I really emphasize. They've earned this opportunity. Allow yourself to enjoy it, but be totally and completely present. Be in the moment, truly one play at a time. I think that's what our guys have done throughout the playoffs, Alanis. And if they do that, good things will happen. But I think if you prepare the right way, you can have a quieted mind while also not minimizing. What an incredible opportunity it is. Go enjoy that op, compete to the best of your ability, and have no regrets. And that's what we're all going to do.
That is Sean McVay. Didn't even know a Super Bowl was going on in about 9 days. I mean, this has been a crazy week.
Yeah.
I mean, the NFL. And by the way, potentially the Shad Khan Jaguars search could be even more criticized if not for the Brian Flores lawsuit, the Dan Snyder stuff going on. I mean, there's a lot happening in the NFL that has nothing to do with football or even coaching hires here in Jacksonville. The Dolphins, by the way, still have a coaching hire to make. Saints as well, Houston as well. And they are not moving quickly. Yep. This is such a slow process, and it's pretty wild. I mean, I guess you can make the case. Everybody's trying to get it right.
Yep.
But the delays have been interesting because Houston seemingly has had finalists for a week. Mm-hmm. And the Dolphins have had 2 interviews scheduled for like a week.
Yeah.
And then they put it on hold for the Senior Bowl. The Saints are the interesting one, but they came late in the game, right? Because Peyton, so they didn't anticipate it like some of these other teams. What will the front office look like now is the major question. Doug Pederson will continue to talk about, and I think people, they love the fact that there's a coach. There's an energy. You can feel it about a new coach. It always happens. I wasn't sure it was going to happen this time. I think it's a sense of relief, but also some energy. But there is some hesitation with that. What happened, why this process was so long, and what role did Trent Baalke play in it, and what role will he play in this organization going forward? Do you have a feeling?
I mean, I think that if you've tied along Trent Baalke to this point, I think he's going to be in some sort of front office role in some capacity. Now, the $1 million question is, what is that going to be? I think he's going to retain his position.
You do?
I do. And then I think Rick Spielman could come in and be some sort of an EVP role. And then, Baalke would essentially have to answer to him. But to me, that kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit.
Yo, listen, again, I will say this and I'll be crystal clear about it. 2 things. One, I thought the way this would play out, and I'll die on the hill. I don't mind it. I thought the way this would play out was at some point, not some 40 days later, but at some point, the Jags would hire a coach. And if that coach wanted to move on from Baalke and wanted to realign with somebody else and thought it was in the best interest of the organization for a myriad of reasons, then they would allow for that to happen at some point and then move forward and find another GM. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a caveat in all this that still could happen at any phase because there is a thinking now here in February that a lot of the draft work has been done. Do you see it through the draft? So no matter what it looks like this weekend, I guess there is still a possibility that Trent Baalke, if he looks like he's here this weekend and for the next couple of weeks and couple months, isn't here by the time May rolls around. And I don't think they'd make that announcement, Austin, because then that's kind of like, why are you making him a lame duck for the next couple months? How much work are you going to even get out of him? Like, if they're thinking that, I'm not even sure Trent will know that, But, I mean, he might know that because he's making a paycheck. Making a pretty good paycheck. Oh, yeah. No, I'm saying he would stay in his place for the next couple months.
Oh, yeah. But I'm saying,
he might not know that he's about to get fired in May.
Oh, yeah, possibly. Or maybe they give him the courtesy and say, hey, do you want to ride this thing out till the draft and make some extra money, or do you want out right now? I mean, I'm not sure what that conversation's like.
So I thought that's the way it would shake out. It doesn't look like that's the way it has shaken out to this point. I mean, there's been no movement. There's not a lot of word out there. Why? I can't wait till the news conference. Why did Doug Pederson take the job with Trent Baalke is just as much a question of why has this process gone all along? Why did Shad die on the hill of Trent Baalke? Blah, 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 blah. And so then there's the Rick Spielman part of it that you brought up. And while it looks like it's headed toward a Rick Spielman involvement in some way, I did think about this. Spielman's been around this thing a long time, man. He's been a GM. He is not coming to why would you take a job to be under Trent Baalke? There's no doubt he'll be that in an advisory role of some sort at the very least, right?
And that to me is why Doug Pederson's coming. Because he's going to have Rick Spielman.
He's going to link to Spielman.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure in terms of how big of a fan Doug Pederson is of Trent Baalke. I don't know. I have no idea. It's hard to say.
Yeah, we just don't know.
But I don't think Doug Pederson's taking the job because of Trent Baalke. I think he's taking the job because of Rick Spielman.
Because of that buffer. And then again, that does open the questions and the doors of, okay, well, who's drafting? Is it Spielman? Is it Baalke? Right? And how long is Baalke here?
Well, and this is why it rubs me the wrong way, because now we're going back to what we had with Tom Coughlin, Doug Marrone, and Dave Caldwell.
Yeah. But the difference is we had that for a 2-year, 3-year period. There's a chance we have that for a 2-month period. Because then Spielman's like, all right, see you, man. Thanks for helping us get through the draft. Because that does happen. That has happened around the league, right? I think he's been up in Pittsburgh. Isn't he staying until after the draft? What's his name?
But he's not getting fired.
Well, no,
he's resigning. I mean, he's walking away.
Yeah, but there's good reason they keep those guys through the draft because they've done a lot of legwork is my point. All right, more on the front office, more on the Jags, more on the hiring of Pederson as well. We'll be back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
If you've been involved in a car accident and are not sure of your legal options, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
I'm Susan Appleton, owner of Appleton Communication and a Jacks Chamber member. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to serve the Jacksonville Women's Business Center on the Society of Small Businesses and to work with women business leaders in Northeast Florida. I'm proud to be a part of JWBC by offering women the opportunity to enhance their communication strategies and relationship building skills as a venture leadership facilitator. JWBC continues to innovate resources and education and provides women entrepreneurs the space to network and prosper alongside each other. This support is invaluable to women in business, and I am most thankful to be a part of it. For more information, visit jackschamberfoundation.org.
Start your new year in a like-new car from the pre-owned experts at Arlington Toyota. Arlington Pre-Owned has over 300 used available. All makes, all models. Some even same model year. You've got to see it. And when it comes to buying with confidence, just leave it to my friends at Arlington. Their 30-day exchange program comes with your purchase. That's 30 days to love your pre-owned purchase or exchange it. Add some major excitement to your new year and an amazing new ride from Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. In person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online anytime at ArlingtonToyota.com.
I'm Action News Jack's First Alert meteorologist Garrett Biedenball. Weather here is unique. It could be bright and sunny one minute and then a downpour the next. That's why mornings are when you need us the most. So you can plan your day, no matter if you're getting ready to go to work or working from your living room, getting the kids ready for school or ready for lunchtime. I'm on TV explaining how weather is going to affect your day and night ahead, so you're prepared for anything. I'll get you ready on Action News Jax this morning.
Men suffering from ED or PE? Has Viagra or Cialis let you down? Prime Men's Medical Center is featuring Restore Wave, the latest and non-invasive ED treatment. You'll see results on your first visit or pay nothing. Call 904-618-3497. That's 904-618-3497.
Are you sick of your dead-end job?
Do you crave a career with a better work-life balance, better lifestyle, or maybe you'd like to work from home? It's a new year. Time for a new career in IT. At My Computer Career, you could start your career in months, not years. Attend classes day or night, live online. And we've rolled back tuition to help meet the demand for IT workers. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
The Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Square Sweepstakes is back. Every score change will draw one winner from the square to win $50,000. Plus, 2 grand prize winners will win $500,000 they could use toward their dream home. Get in the game for free at RocketMortgageSquares.com. Rocket Mortgage, official mortgage sponsor of Super Bowl 56.
No purchase necessary. Legal residents of the 50 U.S. and D.C. of age. Majority ends 11/11/22. Equal housing lender licensed all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. The NFL entities have not offered to sponsor this promotion in any way.
Hey, what's up? It's Austin Lane. Check out Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 or ESPN690.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
Good afternoon. I'm Steve Lennox. Los Angeles Clippers and Portland Trailblazers agreeing on a trade that sends Norman Powell and Robert Covington to Los Angeles. Blazers in the deal, receiving Eric Bledsoe, Justice Winslow, Keon Johnson, and a second-round pick. Trade first reported on by ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. NBA trade deadline comes next Thursday. Nets and Jazz in Utah tonight. James Harden ruled out for Brooklyn due to left hamstring tightness. Nets have dropped 6 in a row. Donovan Mitchell expected to make his return tonight for Utah after missing the previous 8 games. A suspect arrested Thursday night in connection to the altercation that left a 49ers fan in a medical coma. Incident taking place during last weekend's NFC Championship game. ESPN NFL insider Dan Graziano, his thoughts today on the Jaguars hiring of Doug Pederson.
Well, quite a journey, the Jaguars coaching search. It started with Doug Pederson and ended with Doug Pederson 5 weeks later. Look, I mean, Pederson is a Super Bowl winning head coach that they feel can work with Trevor Lawrence, help develop Trevor Lawrence, and whatever questions he had about them, he got answered to his satisfaction.
Our Dan Graziano today on Get Up.
If you need to hire, then you need Indeed. The all-in-one hiring platform helps you schedule and conduct video interviews right from your employer dashboard. Finding your next great hire has never been more streamlined. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Quite a journey, the Jaguars coaching search. It started with Doug Pederson and ended with Doug Pederson 5 weeks later. Look, I mean, Pederson is a Super Bowl winning head coach that they feel can work with Trevor Lawrence, help develop Trevor Lawrence, and whatever questions he had about them, he got answered to his satisfaction. Watch for some more moves. They're still talking to Rick Spielman, who used to be the GM of the Minnesota Vikings, about a front office job there. There could be other changes in Jacksonville still to come.
NFL insider for ESPN, Dan Graziano. The one domino has fell here in Jacksonville. You got your head coach. Now, what is that all going to look like? And that's kind of the next big thing here. And when we talk about, Doug Pederson, and I get it, I think he is a great guy. I think he's a good people person. He may have had a falling out and had maybe a little rough interview or a little rough exit out of Philadelphia, according to some people. I think some people are going to sing his praises as he walked out. Everyone's got their own kind of vibe when it comes to how they feel about Doug Pederson. But what we can't take for granted here is giving him everything that he needs to succeed. Now, I know you made this mistake with Urban Meyer because you got the sense that when Urban Meyer was brought into Jacksonville, this wasn't a Trent Baalke, Tony Khan kind of vetting process. This was Shad Khan saying, Urban Meyer's my guy, I'm going after him, and let's go get him, right? I think that was all Shad Khan. And he essentially gave Urban Meyer the keys of the kingdom, as, at the time I think we all got, and I think probably all celebrated. Yeah, we were wrong. right? It couldn't have went any worse. Probably the worst first-year head coaching performance of all time, and there's a reason why he's out of the league now. But I think with Doug Pederson, you kind of have to keep that same energy in terms of what you had with Urban Meyer. Now, I'm not saying, let Doug Pederson now construct more practice facilities, give the players the best of the best. Like, that stuff's already coming. But what I'm saying from Doug Pederson is if you're Shad Khan, and yeah, Doug Pederson may not have been the first, second, or even third choice. He may not have blew your socks off like Urban Meyer did in that first interview, whatever the case may be, but he's your head coach now. And he's the guy that's got to come in here and clean up a pretty big mess and try to turn things around. So when you have that type of situation and when you have Doug Pederson coming in, you got to keep that same energy that you had with Urban Meyer. And you got to pick Doug Pederson's brain, because keep in mind who you're talking to now. You're not talking to a former college coach who had a lot of success in terms of national championships, but zero head coaching experience in the NFL. You're talking to a Super Bowl winner in himself. And then you're talking to an NFL veteran who's been in the league for a while. So he knows what it looks like. He knows what it takes to succeed. So if I'm Shad Khan, I'm listening to Doug Pederson very closely. And I'm not going to give him the keys of the kingdom per se, because you're still the owner. Yeah, you have all the power. But if he likes something done a certain way, or if he wants somebody to maybe move here, maybe want somebody out, I'm going to take that into serious consideration, because I got to trust Doug Pederson now.
Yeah, it's a great point, and I wonder how much I can't imagine. And some of this has been unbelievable, right? Unfathomable. We can't figure out like the Trent Baalke stuff. What's the role? What's the love affair? Why all of it? Well, and one of the big reasons, Austin, that I felt all along in this process is sooner or later that head coach will make that decision because of the coach-centric nature of Urban Meyer from last year. And I'm not sure Shad necessarily is going to say, well, I don't want to do that. Like, it may not want to give him the complete power of the building like he gave Urban Meyer, but I still feel like he knows the importance of the coach. And Pederson comes in with a heck of a resume and a Super Bowl championship. So there's no way you hire Doug Pederson and then he says, well, listen, I think this could go better, or this is best, or we should do this, and you don't listen to him. Yeah. That's the guy that's supposed to deliver you success. That's supposed to take you to the promised land. Well, you let him do it his way then. Again, there's a big difference between having some control and input and then having complete control. Mm-hmm. And I'm not suggesting that Pederson should get complete control of the entire operation. Urban had a little bit of that now. Mm-hmm. I mean, like the entire building, it felt like, was under Urban. Whatever he said went on any side of the building. I don't think Pederson will have that kind of power. But I do expect him to have some power, and he gets in there, even if a Baalke or somebody is around. He's like, listen, I just don't think this is going to work. I've had it. I've been around it for a couple of months. Like, I gave it a chance, but this isn't in the best interest of our organization. Or when Doug Pederson says, hey, I think Trevor Lawrence could really use this wide receiver. I think we got to really take a look at this guy in the draft or in free agency. Yeah, I think Peterson's going to get some of that control, man. Yeah. Not all the control. But I think a lot of control. And there's been different operations around here. Remember, Doug Marrone would say early in his career or not his career, but early in his stint in Jacksonville with Tom Coughlin, and he was like, hey, I'm not making those decisions. You got to ask Tom and Dave. Yeah. Like, he had, like, it felt like no say. I think he probably had a little bit more than he was leading on. But the point being, I think Doug Pederson's going to get a good amount of that. I just don't think he's going to be handed the keys to the kingdom. Like Urban was.
To me, I mean, it all comes down to the whole Trent Baalke thing. I think that if Trent Baalke, even after the draft, resigns or he's asked to head out, then I think that goes to show you that Doug Pederson kind of had control.
Yeah.
Now, it's optically, it still won't be the best for the organization, because then you can go back and say, well, what happened with Byron Leftwich then?
Yeah.
What was the holdup there? Because I think we can all agree that Byron was probably slated a little higher than Doug Pederson was. Or not? Or do you?
Yeah, I think from the tea leaves, right? From the waves. I've never heard that it was as close to Byron as everybody else said, but that doesn't mean everybody was wrong, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying
by the actions of the second envelope. No, for sure. I'm just saying, the actions of the second interview happening when Byron, what happened for him, and then the second interview of Doug Pederson.
I think there was clear direction at that moment that he was definitely more of a favorite than Pederson. I will definitely say that. I also think I'm not so sure it was as far along as some had suggested. I think it's fair to say because, well, quite frankly, it didn't happen. And some had said it was about to happen like the next minute or two, you know?
Yeah, my only point, though, is that if you go with the route where you let Trent Baalke go after the draft, well, then the question's going to come up.
Yeah,
well,
why
then why didn't you
out?
do it with Byron? You know?
Yeah.
So,
and by the way, I think what Byron has to say or his camp has to say is going to be interesting in this. Because keep in mind, there's one thing I thought about this. There's really not a lot Shad can say when he answers the questions that people that have been really emotionally attached to this search and really been inundated with it day to day, that's going to change people's minds on the Byron Leftwich front. He can try all he wants. Nothing's going to change their mind. And by the way, I'm not saying their mind should be changed. But hopefully there's a nugget here or there that allows for, listen, we were really interested in Byron, but we never got as far as the word was saying, or even if he says something like that, it's a little bit believable, right? Because there was certainly some smoke there that it was about to happen. I just think it's a little bit of semantics at how far down the road it was. And I do think this will be an interesting play on the side of Leftwich in his camp, how much they want to poke at that. Is that smart? I don't know. For his future job status, or do you do that to kind of make the Jags look bad in this? I really don't know. I haven't heard a lot of other candidates that interviewed talking bad about the Jags, or I haven't heard anybody really come out and be like, man, I can't believe they were going to keep Baalke that whole time, even though they might be thinking it. They're not publicly saying it, you know? Yeah. So it'll be really interesting to see what Byron's camp does, because I think he can really fan the flames there a little bit. If he comes out in the next days, weeks, or after the press conference tomorrow and says something that kind of indicates, man, that thing was about to happen, you know?
Yeah, well, because was it Schefter that you shared it in our group text, or Ian Rappaport?
Ian Rappaport.
Ian Rappaport, saying something with Leftwich.
Yeah, but he brought up Hackett too, which was interesting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Do you have that? I thought, since we're talking about kind of how this unraveled, that we still really, again, what do we say? Like, what do we know? Yeah. We know it took a hell of a long time. We know now Doug Pederson's the coach. But here's what Ian Rappaport said, and I'm telling you, listen to this, because there's the reason why I sent it to these guys once I heard it is because I was like, holy cow, there's a lot to unpack here. Like he's throwing a lot of potential nuggets out there. And what I always think of, okay, where's Ian getting this from? Is this coming from the Jag side of things after the fact that they hired Pederson? Yeah. Is it coming from the agents in the camp? Listen, and you guys can make your own opinion and judgment.
Well, the short answer is that the Jacksonville Jaguars did exactly what they probably should have done many, many weeks ago, but still a really solid hire, a Super Bowl winning head coach, someone who deserves another shot to be back in the saddle and probably will end up being very good for Trevor Lawrence. The fact that it took so long, well, I'm not so sure this has been the smoothest coaching search in the history of the world for the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's been some twists and turns. There's been guys they wanted, like Nathaniel Hackett, opting to go to other teams like the Denver Broncos. There was the Byron Leftwich courtship, of course, coming in for a second interview, ultimately not ending up as the job, and then eventually withdrawing his name due to some, let's say, some concerns about the organization. I'll let Leftwich speak for himself whenever he addresses that. I don't want to put words in his mouth. But Doug Pederson was always a really viable and interesting candidate. It just took a long time to bring him in for a second interview, and it really did feel like once they brought him in for a second interview, then everybody was on the same page as far as what the organization was going to look like, how much alignment he had with General Manager Trent Baalke, the potential hire of Rick Spielman, of course, Trevor Lawrence being there helped. And now, as we found out late last night, Doug Pederson agreed to terms, the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So that's Ian Rappaport on NFL Network, and a lot of different things going, right? I mean, and he acknowledges, like, hey, let's let Byron give his side of the story and how he thought it all went down. So that will be very interesting to hear and see if he does.
Well, and using the verbiage concerns with the organization speaks volumes, I think. I mean, now, what does that mean? We have no idea.
Yeah. Because I do think there's a couple of things in play, right? I mean, everybody else is wondering, okay, how far along was it? How close was it to happening? And then also, where in that whole process was the concerns for the organization and the structure and everything else, and the willingness for Byron maybe to impact that? Those are two different stories. They can easily be two different stories. And like I go back to last Wednesday. I mean, I joke like he was listening. Like if I could text Leftwich, do not come here unless you can get the situation that you want. Don't just wedge yourself into a situation just to take a head coaching gig. And it is reasonable to think, Austin, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is my view on it. It's reasonable to think someone like Doug Pederson with a Super Bowl trophy, 54 years old, 5 years of head coaching under his wing, would have a little more influence on maybe Shad Khan changing his mind on the bulky structure or whatever else than maybe Byron Leftwich, because of Leftwich's, I guess, inexperience. And, inexperience.
Sure. I mean, Pederson definitely has the better resume than Byron Leftwich does, but at the same time, assuming Byron Leftwich was more of a front runner than Doug Pederson was, that shouldn't matter.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't think so either. I mean, listen, I would have loved to see it change right there that day. Yeah. And I would have been fine with Byron Leftwich as the head coach. That's fine, too. Even though initially, if you go back, he was third on my list. But I would have been fine with the structure change.
I think Doug Pederson here is a great thing, but I'm just saying if Shad Khan and that organization truly had Byron Leftwich ahead of Doug Pederson, which I do believe was the case, then it makes no sense to say, well, let's give Doug Pederson what he wants because he's got the better resume.
Yeah. And because, by the way, then from a Shad point of view, you are trying to wedge somebody into that situation. Rather than listen to what the experienced guy said early on in the process, maybe a Caldwell, maybe a Pederson, like, hey, it ain't gonna happen, and that's why the Hackett thing is interesting to me, because one of the things that I heard is like when Hackett was coming in for the second interview, when they was told again, okay, well, Balky don't want him part of it. It really started to register. Okay, Leftwich is telling me this. Hackett's telling me this. Like, we got to really think about this, and that's when they started to reset a little bit. Now, what was the exact timing of it? Why didn't it happen earlier? All fair questions.
But at the same, but like they may have voiced their concerns, but nothing changed. Trent Baalke's still in power.
Well, the only thing that potentially could have changed is the Spielman thing.
Oh, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, this week. What happened after that sequence is they went back to Spielman, and whatever is happening potentially, to put him in the organization. And what really sets the table for eventually a Spielman-Pederson combination, and Baalke could be out of there. I think you could see that down the road at some point. I just don't know when that is going to happen. I think tomorrow, if we get an introduction, hopefully we'll get some clarity on some of that in the role in the organization.
And
Baalke.
what's the introduction going to look like tomorrow, do you think?
I don't know, man. I don't have a good feel. I think I've told you. I think I've said it. If I were the Jags, I'm not sure I'd bring Baalke out there. I think I'd just do Doug Pederson and Shad Khan.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Doug Pederson out there by himself. That's for sure.
No. Shad has to be a part of it. Shad will be a part of it.
Okay.
And Doug Pederson will definitely be a part of it. I just don't know if it's. I don't know how they're going to view it. I don't know if they're going to say, like, is it better to keep Trent Baalke?
Well,
it under wraps for two reasons. One, it's awkward because of the situation, and two, are you stealing from Doug's thunder a little bit? If you're doing that. So I could see that happening.
Here's what I hope happens, though. I hope Shad Khan addresses right away, before we even hear from Doug Pederson, exactly what the plan is going forward and what the process was like. Because the last thing I want to see at a press conference introducing a new head coach is a head coach having to answer for questions that he had no part of a couple weeks ago.
Absolutely.
Through this whole process, which could theoretically happen if Shad Khan doesn't kind of give us clarification of what exactly was going on.
Yeah, and by the way, I think it will be interesting from Doug's view of what his view of the Baalke situation was from start to finish. He saw it early and met with them, and then saw it late. And then either they changed their mind, or he changed their mind, or somebody changed their mind amidst that all. Right?
But I don't think Pederson's going to come out though and slam Baalke.
No, I don't think so.
Like there's no way you're going to have your introductory press conference from a head coach and you're going to slam the organization.
I agree with that.
So he's going to play ball.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah.
But he might give a little bit of shed a little bit of light on the whole process from his point of view.
Sure.
Because again, there's a really good chance he didn't hear from Shad for like 30 days.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, they could have been in contact, but they might not have been in that whole stretch, which is just wild.
Yeah.
Or very wild. But we still have not heard, unless I'm missing an email, and I'll double check that, about a news conference, but how they set it up. And usually there'll be a press release on top of that. And we said this last night. What was very interesting about the news release last night and the Shad Khan statement is that it didn't mention Trent Baalke one bit. It didn't mention the front office at all. And a lot of times, if like that's the plan going forward, you'd be like, well, Doug Pederson and Trent Baalke going forward are going to bring us to blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case last night. Now, does that mean another news release is coming once Spielman is in place? Potentially. Or we will find out on the, after the questioning in the news conference. We have Sean on the line, right? Let's get him on. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 here on a Friday with Doug Pederson, the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. What's happening, man?
Hey, how you guys doing, man? You guys pretty much said everything I actually want to say. I just wanted to just throw it out there. If Nate Hackett was the presumptive, the go-to guy, and he already worked in the Jaguars organization, he's completely already said, hey, I don't want to work with this guy. I'm more curious, not what Byron has to say, but what Nate Hackett has to say, because he already has the ins and outs of exactly what is going on in the actual office itself. So I would like to, if I was media, I would ask him more so than Byron Hackett his point of view.
I appreciate it, Sean. Thank you. By the way, I think both would be pretty interesting.
Yeah. It just makes you wonder how much you're really going to hear.
Well, I don't think you're going. I
think Hackett's a situation where, he's on to bigger and better things. Now you're the head coach of the Denver Broncos. I'm sure you're trying to court Aaron Rodgers. So, I don't know. I think very rarely do coaches get a better position and they want to slam the process that led to that position.
Yeah.
I think Byron Leftwich could be different, though, because he stayed the same. He kind of went back to what he knows. He chose, whether it was offered to him or not, probably not, but he chose to go back to essentially where he came from with the offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I think in terms of maybe an axe to grind, in terms of a little more emotion, I think Byron's got a little more than Hackett does. But obviously, if they want to come forward and speak their piece, we're all ears here.
Yeah, listen, here's how it's going to happen. It's not going to come from their mouths, most likely. It's going to come from reports, and it might take a little bit for that to come out because people will talk either at the Senior Bowl, at the Combine, other things, and somebody's going to be like, man, I can't believe Jags and Byron, right? Or Hackett, is going to somewhere say, yeah, I just told him I couldn't work with Baalke or whatever it was, Some of those things are going to come out, I would think, but it might take a little time because, like you said, Byron Leftwich has moved on, and he's going back to Tampa and figuring out what's next, and Hackett has a lot of work to do. Yes. They're in Denver. Let's get Matthew on the line as well. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. What's happening, man?
Hey there, Austin. First off, Brent has been showing his cards on the envelope for weeks now, saying that they potentially already missed out on their candidate, their number one guy, in Nathaniel Hackett. So he's been playing that one for a little bit.
No, he has, but he also told us that it's not the same guy that he said in our prediction. So I was going off of, I guess, truth telling, and I should have known better, man.
Matthew, you're good at Clue, baby. You're good at Clue.
I should have known better.
Anyway, does this hire of Doug Pederson, he's a Super Bowl winning coach. He's a younger guy, if you will, compared to like a Jim Caldwell, but does this wow, when we come to free agency, does this wow other players enough to overlook the culture of Jacksonville as it is right now to bring in some high-profile guys to help Trevor and get this thing rolling immediately, or is it going to take time for that to kind of come to fruition? Thanks, guys.
Matthew, appreciate it, man. Have a good weekend. Great question, too. I really like it. I don't think overall players are enamored or put a lot of stock into or a lot of energy into the general manager of the football team, right, or the front office. I think they do put a lot of stock into the coach, their position coaches, who else is in the locker room, and when it comes to free agency, money.
Yeah.
So while I would like to tell you that there are a lot of outside folks that were, let's just say, throw me a player, Godwin. Okay. Sure. And he's free agent, and he's like, man, what the heck is Jacksonville doing over there? Like, I don't know by the time March comes around and dollars start flowing and you see that, and now you have Doug Pederson, and he calls some people from Philly and is like, yeah, man, Doug's really good. And, hey, I got Trevor. That's pretty good, right? I think those things wear off a little bit over time. What's the one interesting part of that, Austin? And by the way, you know this game way better than me, but the one interesting part of that is agents, right? And how do the agents feel? And are the agents saying, hey, man, just be a little careful here. Things haven't worked out for the Jalens, the Jans. I mean, look what just happened with Urban. Look what's going on. Let them figure it out first and then maybe go over there or go somewhere else. But what did I just say about money? The agent's driven by that dollar, too.
Yeah, I mean, money means something for sure, but also you want to set your players up for success. I think, can Doug Pederson come in and turn it right around? Well, if you want to make the model of the Cincinnati Bengals, you need a couple of things. First, they need great draft classes. Well, we haven't really seen that here in the past couple of years, and we're not really sure in terms of what the GM is going to look like, if there's going to be an EVP. So it's hard to say what the draft class is going to be for this year because, well, we even know what the roles are designed to be yet. You need another thing.
Scouting?
Are they even scouting? You need another thing. You need free agents. You know, I think in the market right now in terms of is Jacksonville a viable destination? Yes, Doug Pederson's a big name. It could be a quarterback-friendly place, all this stuff. But at the same time, I think that the proof is in the pudding, man, and you got to prove that first. So I think, you know, this up-and-coming free agent cycle, which is right around the corner, by the way. So they got to get their coaches, got to get their scheme, got to get your franchise tag if you want to. There's a lot of things that have to happen in about a month or so. So you're kind of behind the 8 ball there. But I think in terms of destinations for free agents, yeah, you may have to overpay some guys, but I'm not sure how high of a priority right now Jacksonville is for agents to send their guys here.
NBA Slam Poetry we still have. We've got to open some cards up. We're going to Philadelphia next, though. More on Doug Pederson, what it means, what he was all about in Philly. Let's talk about it. Doug Pederson, new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's a big Friday here in Jacksonville on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Breezy and warm today with sunshine gradually giving way to clouds and a few late-day showers with highs in the low 80s near record highs. On and off showers and turning much cooler tonight near 50 by morning. And Saturday will be mostly cloudy and chilly. Still some morning showers and drizzle. Highs only in the mid-50s. I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Get the guaranteed lowest price at the only locally owned diamond store in the St. John's Town Center.
Voted best gift of the year for golfers by the ESPN 690 Golf Enthusiast Review Board. Want to make the golfer in your life love you even more? Order the 2022 ESPN Dream 18 card for just $69. Big discounts on golf all year. Golf courses are raising their rates with the recent boom. The Dream 18 card has even more value now. For less than dinner for two at your favorite upscale restaurant, you will receive tremendously discounted rounds at some of the area's best golf courses. Golf Club at Southampton, St. John's Golf and Country Club, Hidden Hills, Osprey Cove, the Yards added this year, Amelia River Golf Club, Eagle Landing, Fleming Island Golf Club, and Queens Harbor Yacht and Country Club. Plus, you'll receive a free smoothie from Smoothie King, a free hat from Dome Hats, a free shirt at Baker's Sports, and a discount on a purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Play 2 rounds of golf, and the card pays for itself. $69, that's it. Some of the proceeds go to the Dream 18 charity as well. Buy the card at ActionSportsShacksDream18.com. Supplies are limited. Go to ActionSportsShacksDream18.com.
Well, the holidays are behind us, and that means nothing but open road ahead. So make every mile this new year the best it can be in a new Toyota from Arlington Toyota. Camry, Corolla, RAV4, Tundra, Tacoma. Arlington Toyota's got 500 new Toyotas available and ready for wherever you want to go in 2022. Plus, every new car purchase from Arlington Toyota comes with a lifetime warranty and Arlington's 30-day exchange program. Where will your new Toyota take you in 2022? Find out and shop arlingtontoyota.com today.
Though no longer little, teens still need a lot of love. Yet teens in foster care have a harder time finding it, as 82% of foster families are home to kids 12 or younger. You can positively impact a teen's life as a foster parent. With help from Family Support Services of North Florida, you provide patience, love, and understanding, and Family Support Services will offer specialized training, resources, and a community of support. Take the next step at foster-now.org. That's foster-now.org.
It's where I take my family to play golf, and you can take yours as well. The Golf Club at Southampton. It's the home of the Action Sports Shacks Dream 18, and it can be your golf destination. Enjoy your golf experience by calling 287-PLAY, 287-PLAY. Play some golf, or maybe practice some golf at one of the newest facilities in the area. Grab some lunch or dinner, too. Southampton has it all. 287-PLAY for tee times and more. The Golf Club at Southampton, the home of the Dream 18. My home course. Make it your home course, too.
Do you know why you see so much camera footage of crimes? Wasn't the camera supposed to deter the crime in the first place? That's because they weren't safe touch cameras. You don't want to see someone breaking into your car. You want to see it before it happens. That's what safe touch cameras do. They alert you via text or video notification beforehand, giving you time to react to the situation. And safe touch cameras have 24/7 video storage in the cloud, the safest and securest way to store important events that only you, the safe touch customer, control. And here's the best news yet. You can get the safe touch surveillance system with 3 color cameras, 24-hour recording, secure storage for as little as $39.95 per month, including 24/7 service, cloud storage, and camera warranty. Camera installation is additional charge. This system will work with any security system or no security system at all. Or bundle the 2-way communicator package for additional savings. Find out how you can get a free survey and demonstration at safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233.
Here's the deal. I've had constipation with belly pain, discomfort, and bloating for years. I've tried a lot of laxatives and fiber supplements, but my symptoms keep coming back.
You could have a chronic condition called irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Talk to a doctor today. Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by AbbVie and Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
Florida children are eligible for head-to-toe coverage through the Florida Kid Care Program, which is high-quality, affordable health and dental coverage with cost as low as $15 a month. To assist families applying for Florida Kid Care or Medicaid and increase enrollment in the Florida Kid Care Program, the Players Center for Child Health with Wolfson Children's Hospital offers free application assistance. For appointments, call 904-202-WELL. That's 904-202-9355. Habla Español.
The Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Square Sweepstakes is back, and we're kicking off the action again with the largest official game of Super Bowl Squares ever. Here's the play-by-play. There's millions of dollars in prizes, and a bunch of lucky fans are gonna win big. Every single score change will draw one lucky winner from the square to win $50,000. That means touchdowns, field goals, extra points, safeties, even a 2-point conversion is a winner. 50 G's. Plus, 2 grand prize winners will win $500,000 they could use toward their dream home. There's 1 way to enter, 2 ways to win, and 0 reasons not to play. See rules and get in the game for free at RocketMortgageSquares.com. Rocket Mortgage, official mortgage sponsor of Super Bowl 56.
No purchase necessary. Legal residence of the 50 U.S. and D.C. of age of majority. Ends 11/11/22. Equal housing lender licensed all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. The NFL entities have not offered or sponsored this promotion in any way.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690. All right, welcome back. Big news in Jacksonville over the last 24 hours. Doug Pederson, new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It took a while. It's 2 years in a row. Urban Meyer, the excitement. I don't think this is at the excitement of the Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence. I think we're in wait-and-see mode here in Jacksonville, and that's no disrespect to Doug Pederson. I know he comes with the Lombardi Trophy, but nobody can seemingly figure this thing out here in Jacksonville, and we're going to wait to see if somebody can finally figure it out, and hopefully, Doug Pederson is that guy. Let's go to Philadelphia now, and NFL writer Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press joins us. Pleased to be joined by Rob. Thanks for taking a few minutes, man. I know you're probably getting a lot of phone calls from folks around the Jacksonville area today. Brent Martineau, former Jags player, Austin Lane on ESPN 690. Should we be excited about Doug Pederson as the new head coach of the Jags?
No doubt. I think you should. And I'm among you guys. I'm a Florida resident. I'm in the Tampa area and loving every bit of the 80-plus degrees that we have. I know they're shoveling some snow up in Philly. Good for them. I don't have to do that anymore. That's the greatest thing that's ever happened in my life. But Doug Pederson is a Super Bowl winning head coach, and I think if this coaching search for the Jaguars didn't take as long as it did and have so many twists and turns, that people may be a little bit more excited about having a guy who won a Super Bowl on this day 4 years ago. He hoisted that Vince Lombardi trophy. He did it by leading a young second-year quarterback in Carson Wentz to the brink of being an MVP in 2017 until he tore his ACL and then won the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback in Nick Foles, who you guys are very familiar with, in the playoffs. So he's a great leader of men, and I think that's the one area of Doug Pederson that you bring into a culture that really needs somebody to transform it in Jacksonville. That's a guy, that's what Doug can do. He's coming in there as a man who is firm in his principles, he's not going to be a backstabber. He's a guy who shoots people straight. He gets along very well with his players, and they have a ton of respect for him. He enjoys his ice cream, so if anybody sees him around and wants to buy him a vanilla cone, he'd be excited about that. But I think Doug Pederson is what the Jaguars need right now. I know maybe there are more splashier names. He's the only one out there who is available with a Lombardi trophy, and I think he gets overlooked a lot of times in the conversation. They win the Super Bowl, they come back, they go to the playoffs the next 2 years, and they do it the second year also with a backup in Nick Foles, and then they get to the playoffs. They're injury decimated team, and then he loses in what really was a power-type struggle in Philadelphia there at the end after a horrible season. But I think this is a guy who can really help Jacksonville turn things around or work towards it.
Rob Maaddi with us here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. I want to keep you on that last point because we have a Trent Baalke situation here in Jacksonville. There's been dysfunction in Jacksonville really beyond this last year. If you want to go back to the last few years from Jalen Ramsey to Yannick Ngakoue to grievances with the NFLPA. And Doug Pederson, I guess the one red flag is how it ended in Philadelphia. And should that be a concern, especially potentially having to work with a guy like Trent Baalke, who has had a history of having some dysfunction in the organizations he's been in?
Yeah, and that's understandable that the way it went down in Philly, but I think that was a unique situation in Philadelphia. Doug Pederson's a guy who doesn't like conflict. He'll avoid conflict, and he will work his butt off to make sure that everyone's on the same page and working together. What you had in Philly was a case where they brought him in first and foremost because that's an organization with an ownership and a front office and the GM and Howie Roseman that wants to have a lot of input, not only on personnel decisions, and that's where the GM, Howie Roseman, has final say on personnel decisions, but they actually like to have some input on day-to-day, week-to-week, game planning, everything else. And for a while, Doug Pederson would entertain that. He would humor them. He would sit down and he would allow their input and have those conversations with whoever wanted to sit down with him and have those conversations. Doesn't mean he had to go out there and implement what an owner or a GM or anyone whose ideas he doesn't strongly believe in is telling him to do, but he'll entertain it. He'll listen. There are some coaches who'll say, hey, you know what? I want a Super Bowl in year 2. You don't know anything or half as much as I do. I'm not even sitting down with you. That's not Doug. He will avoid as much conflict as possible. So I think it was a unique situation in Philadelphia where at the end he was very loyal to his assistant coaches, and they wanted to dictate who was going to be on his staff, and that's where he finally drew the line and said, listen, I'm out. And they make it in there's always a narrative that's coming out of the Eagles organization, and the Eagles are great at spinning that narrative. And the Eagles are exceptional at making sure they leak information that benefits them, not necessarily always the most upfront, truthful, and honest information. And they'll leak it to media members with the biggest following, who will take exactly what the GM says, and I'm not naming any names, man, but they'll take exactly what the GM tells them in a text, and they'll post it on their social media, on their Twitter accounts, word for word, without investigating the actual truth behind it. And the Eagles are masters at that, and I think they did that to Carson Wentz, and they did it to Doug Pederson.
Rob, you mentioned the ice cream, and I'm sure we've all seen the video on Twitter circulating with Doug Pederson saying, "Hey, let's get an ice cream. It's my treat." And I find that so hilarious because he took that from Andy Reid, who I played for, because Andy Reid used to always say, "Hey, let's go get a cheeseburger. Cheeseburger's on me." So that's a similarity coming from the Andy Reid coaching tree. Just how in sync they seem to be. I can sit here and say Andy Reid was the best players coach I've ever been around. I mean, the players loved playing for him, and he always kind of understood how a locker room worked. Are there a lot of those traits in Doug Pederson, or is he a little more maybe old school, a little more hard-nosed than maybe an Andy Reid is?
I think maybe even more so than Andy Reid because he played the game, right? Andy is a great Hall of Fame head coach. He didn't play like Doug did at that level. Doug was a starting quarterback in Philadelphia when they booed the heck out of him from day one because they wanted Donovan McNabb to be in there. So he can relate to players on an even better level. He understands if it's a Thursday or a Friday or a Wednesday later in the season, he's got this leadership group and a leadership council, and he points those guys and he talks to them on a daily basis. Hey, guys, what do you think? What do we need to do? What's practice like? Am I working you too hard? Do we need to pull back a little bit? Do we have to do things differently? And I think he's got his finger on the pulse of a locker room, and that's why I think he's relatable. He's a guy who's very likable. He's very personable. He avoids conflict, and all of those things help him be a great leader. Now, as a head coach, you also obviously you got to do the X's and O's, and you got to be an in-game manager, and you got to be able to adjust on the fly. And sometimes he didn't do that well enough, but he's got to surround himself with an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator who can handle that for him. And I think maybe if the one aspect of Doug Pederson's coaching tenure in Philly is that needed to be improved upon the most was making sure he had the best coaching staff around him. Now, of course, there was also in Philly a lot of input from the front office. A couple years back, he famously one day said, "I'm bringing back the wide receivers coach. I'm bringing back the offensive coordinator." The owner said the next day, "No, that ain't going to happen," and they were gone. So if he's got that input, he's got to make sure he's bringing in the best guys who can help put him in a position to where he can do his job and lead that group.
Rob, having watched Doug Pederson, in Philadelphia and now in Jacksonville, and obviously I'm sure we'll find out more tomorrow about what the situation's going to be, but do you foresee Doug Pederson still being the play caller, or do you think he turns the reins over to like an offensive coordinator?
That's a great question because he does love calling the plays, and his last year in Philadelphia, he did call the plays. They didn't even have an offensive coordinator. After that fiasco where he had to fire Mike Groh, the offensive coordinator, he said, I'm going to handle this. I could probably see him still calling plays no matter who the offensive coordinator is, and that's just something that a lot of offensive-minded head coaches want to do. He's talked about it in the past. It's something that he likes to do. Now, maybe his coaching philosophy has changed since in that year off, not being in Philadelphia, taking a step away from the game, hanging out in South Florida and just watching football from afar. I don't know if he wants to detach himself from play calling, but that final year in Philly, he was really he took a lot of heat for it, but he felt strongly about calling his own plays and said something. It's something he enjoys doing, and I think he'd be reluctant to give that up. Now, I don't know if that would be mandated, but he's out of the game for a year. He doesn't have a job. Is he willing to be flexible if the Jags ownership and the Jags front office tells him, no, we're going to hire you only if you bring an offensive coordinator who calls his plays? There may be some flexibility there.
NFL Associated Press writer Rob Maaddi with us, talking about Doug Pederson, the Philadelphia days. Let me ask you just one more question about at least predicting what could happen here. Trevor Lawrence and Doug Pederson, that relationship. Can you tell us a little bit more about his relationship with his QBs? We know he got Carson Wentz and Nick Foles to play good football, and I think I could argue that Trevor Lawrence's skill set, at least on the surface, is better than both of those quarterbacks. We haven't seen it come to fruition after his rookie year, but how good do you think Doug Pederson can make Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, I think he can be the guy who can help Trevor Lawrence live up to that first pick overall hype and his potential. What he did with a guy like Carson Wentz coming out of North Dakota State as a number 2 pick, and by year 2, now I know he had help. Frank Reich is an offensive coordinator, John DeFilippo as the quarterbacks coach, and keep an eye on that name as somebody who might potentially be an offensive coordinator or on the coaching staff, John DeFilippo. But what he was able to do with Carson Wentz was incredible. It was phenomenal in year 2, almost being an MVP, and then winning. Changing the offense a little bit to fit around Nick Foles' skill set and winning a Super Bowl with Nick, and then going to the playoffs the following year when Nick jumps in there and fills in for Carson the last 4 games of the season. He gets along well with his quarterbacks. I know there was another false narrative coming out of Philadelphia last year that he and Carson didn't get along towards the end of the year. Doug himself told me that's not true. That's not happening. But, once someone from the Eagles front office sends that text message to certain people in the national media and they put it out there on their Twitter feed, everybody thinks, all of a sudden, Carson Wentz and Doug Pederson don't get along. Doug Pederson denied that, told me straight to my face that that's not true. And then after the season, we saw that. We saw Carson talk about that. We saw Doug talk about that. So I think he and Trevor Lawrence are going to get along great. They're going to meet together once a week. He had those meetings and told them, hey, this is what I see. What input do you have? How much do you think we should change this or operate this way? What do you want to see? So he's going to allow him that flexibility. He's going to allow him to have that input. And this is something I think that should be very exciting for Jaguars fans, because he's a guy who I don't know if you want to put him in the quarterback guru mold just yet, but when you win a Super Bowl with a backup and you get a guy who's in his second year almost an MVP trophy, I think he's done a good job with QBs.
Rob, when we talk about Doug Pederson, one of the lasting memories that he's going to have in the city of Philly of how that situation with Jalen Hurts and I think it was Nate Sudfeld played out in the third quarter against Washington. Now, from our perspective down here in Jacksonville, you hear the rumblings. I mean, you saw the Jason Kelce press conference where he talked about the whole tanking thing, but then he kind of went back on his words a little bit and said he kind of knew what was up with Sudfeld. I mean, how did that locker room handle that situation? And I guess what was the whole presumption of Doug Pederson after that moment with Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, Doug Pederson took a bullet for the organization because he thought he was going to be back. And he felt that I'm going to be back, so I'm going to do what the organization needs me to do here, and that is secure a better draft pick. I don't care what they say publicly. You're never going to say you purposely lost the game. You're going to always say, well, Nate Sudfeld deserved an opportunity, blah, blah, blah. Whatever that may be, they needed to lose that game to move up in the draft 3 spots, which they parlayed into an extra first-round pick and everything else. But what he did was he took the bullet for the front office. He took that head on, and he didn't back down from it, and credit to him. I don't think there were any really ill feelings towards Doug Pederson within that locker room, because anyone who has any kind of idea about what's happening understood that's not a directive from Doug. That's coming from upper management. He was told we got to do the best we can to make sure we get that 6th pick instead of the 9th pick. And he went out there and took all the criticism for it and everything else. But that also just shows you a little bit of who he is, because he's willing to shoulder that on him rather than throw anyone else under the bus, even when they throw him under the bus.
Rob Maaddi, NFL AP writer, thanks for all the insight on Doug Pederson. We look forward to getting to know him, hopefully as soon as tomorrow when he's introduced as the next Jacksonville Jaguars coach. Thanks, Rob.
You got it, guys. Anytime. Have a good one.
You too. Interesting that was your last question, and in the context of, what's happening around the league these days, right?
Oh, yeah.
But good things about Doug Pederson. Obviously, Rob is a fan and got to know him pretty well. And I do hope that's a thing that we can develop around here, is get to know Doug Pederson a little bit, right? I'm not sure, first of all, the time didn't allow for anybody to really get to know Urban Meyer enough.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he was ever going to let anybody in that much.
Yeah.
And the same goes for Trent Baalke at the moment. So this, again, I've said this countless times, the relationships need to be built better inwardly for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'm not saying they have to be buddy-buddy with every media member. That is not what I'm saying. Yeah. But I think the communication goes to the fans and the lines open and some personality and those kind of things. I mean, that's it might be an undertone. It might be a subconscious, but it's important. Especially if you're not going to sit there and win 7, 8, 9, 10 games and threaten the playoffs. each and every year. Clay Harbor will join us in the 5 o'clock hour, football at 5. We've got NBA Slam Poetry coming up next, I think, or at least coming up soon.
Yeah, I got it.
Let's do it. When we come back, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
The March to Get Screened 5K, sponsored by Borland Groover, is coming up on March 27th. Make plans now to join us as we raise funds for colon cancer awareness, life-saving screenings, and more. Find out more about it at marchtogetScreened.com.
The right time for the best water is right now. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure your family's water is clean, healthy, and tastes great. CGC Water's done that for my family for a handful of years now, and it all starts with a Connecticut system. American-made and installed by the pros at CGC Water Treatment. Contact CGC Water Treatment now for your free water test. Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, twin-tank, non-electric systems that use less salt and water during regeneration. Right now, save up to $600 on select system packages. Financing available with approved credit. Just call CGC Water at 904-552-1242 and ask about the Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Do you know why you see so much camera footage of crimes? Wasn't the camera supposed to deter the crime in the first place? That's because they weren't safe touch cameras. You don't want to see someone breaking into your car. You want to see it before it happens. That's what safe touch cameras do. They alert you via text or video notification beforehand, giving you time to react to the situation. And safe touch cameras have 24/7 video storage in the cloud, the safest and securest way to store important events that only you, the safe touch customer, control. And here's the best news yet. You can get the safe touch surveillance system with 3-color cameras, 24-hour recording, secure storage for as little as $39.95 per month, including 24/7 service, cloud storage, and camera warranty. Camera installation is additional charge. This system will work with any security system or no security system at all. Or bundle the two-way communicator package for additional savings. Find out how you can get a free survey and demonstration at safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233.
You're invited to shop at the White Harvest Farms and Farmers Market every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's a market of fresh and affordable farm-to-table produce that comes from a 10.5-acre urban located at 4850 Moncrief Road. There's volunteering, classes, and farming demonstrations. Also, if you're interested in becoming a vendor or volunteer, call 904-354-4162 or visit the White Harvest Farms Eventbrite page. White Harvest Farms wants to be your favorite produce market. This initiative benefits the Clara White mission.
2022 Acura deals have been unleashed with 2.9% APR at your First Coast Acura dealers. Upgrade to the award-winning 2022 RDX crossover SUV and save when you shop deals at firstcoastacuradealers.com. Offer excludes Type S edition.
Welcome to Allstate, where saving on your auto insurance is kind of like a joyride. You, your car, and an open road. Maybe your best friend, too. The music is chill, and so is the traffic. You and your friend both look over at each other, and then he puts his head back out the window. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Allstate and affiliates offer products and services subject to availability, terms, and conditions.
Join ESPN 690 on March 5th for the Gate River Run. Registration for the 15K, 5K for charity, Junior River Run, and the Brooks Rehabilitation Mile Challenge is now open at GateRiverRun.com. Training information is available on the website. See you at the starting line.
Imagine this, the Jaguars basically had a head start on every other team in terms of making a head coaching hire after firing Urban Meyer. We've seen a number of head coaches, including most recently Mike McCarthy, who are let go from one job, take a year away from the game, and are immediately back in the head coaching conversation just 1 year later, which is where Jacksonville has landed with Doug Pederson. They cast a net of 10 different candidates, and at one point it did seem like their former franchise quarterback Byron Leftwich would end up being their head coach. Instead, they go with Doug Pederson, a man who has winning credentials and should bring some leadership and stability to an organization that needs it more than any other in the NFL right now.
ESPN's Field Yates. Welcome back to Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz. do you not feel right putting Doug Pederson in the Mike McCarthy category right now? I mean, I get it. Mike McCarthy's had some success in Dallas, but I'm always reminded of that last game, how it went, and it wasn't good.
Do I have a problem doing it, you're saying?
I mean, like, I don't want to put Doug Pederson in the Mike McCarthy category, I guess, is what I'm saying. I mean, I get they have it in common where, yeah, they took some time off, now they're back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to put them in the same category either, but that fits.
If the shoe fits, huh?
They both have a Super Bowl.
If the shoe fits.
But I believe that in terms of coaching, Doug Pederson had to do a little more on the coaching side to win the Super Bowl with Nick Foles than Mike McCarthy did with, like, Aaron Rodgers.
Sure. No, that's a good point.
So there are some comparable parts, but I would like to believe that Doug Pederson had to work a bit harder.
Okay, I like that. That's fair enough. I mean, I can't wait to see kind of the energy that he brings, because it is a great point in terms of Philadelphia. Like, I get it. It's only one Super Bowl, but it's still a Super Bowl at the end of the day. And the run that they went on, like, nobody was giving them a shot. I mean, there's a reason why they kind of adopted the underdog moniker a little bit. Because, I mean, and I was included in that group. I'm like, there's no way this Nick Foles-led team is going to win a Super Bowl, but so be it. So, yeah, that definitely has to come down to coaching. And, despite how he kind of went out with the whole Jalen Hurts, Nate Sudfeld thing, I do think his players respect him. And I do think his players enjoy playing for him. And it was a great point that Rob had. We just called in this last segment comparing him to Andy Reid, who I got nothing but respect for Andy Reid. I mean, I'm always cheering for the Chiefs. Like, listen, I love Joe Burrow. I love the swag. I love the turtlenecks and the chain. But I was cheering for the Kansas City Chiefs, even though they've already won one and they've been to a couple. I want to see Andy Reid win as many as possible, because I think Andy Reid's a good dude. And, talking to Rob here this past segment, it seems like Doug Pederson is cut from the same cloth. But what Doug Pederson can bring to the table, too, and that's why I was such a big proponent of Byron Leftwich, is the fact that they're both players. They're both former players, and they've been in locker rooms, and they can relate to players a little bit more. I'm not saying, like listen, you don't have to be a former NFL player to be a great head coach, but I'm saying it helps you relate to your players and in turn can make you a great head coach by being a former NFL player. I think we got Slam Poetry coming up here in a little bit. Also going to be joined by Clay Harbor, I think, in the 5 o'clock hour. Casey's a big fan. He was on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette?
Bachelorette.
Okay. Are you a fan of that show, honestly?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Remember when I said when I met Dale Moss one time? I met him a couple times.
Yep.
You ever meet somebody and it's like, oh wow, you're just way better than me in every aspect of life?
Yeah.
That's how I felt when I met Dale Moss. I'm like,
it's probably accurate.
How you so good? I mean, and like, listen, coming from a guy who's married to his beautiful wife, but I remember thinking, like, you shouldn't be this smart and this good looking. It's not good, and you shouldn't be in the NFL. You can't have it all.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later, maybe here on ESPN 690.
Voted best gift of the year for golfers by the ESPN 690 Golf Enthusiast Review Board. Want to make the golfer in your life love you even more? Order the 2022 ESPN Dream 18 card for just $69. Big discounts on golf all year. Golf courses are raising their rates with the recent boom. The Dream 18 card has even more value now. For less than dinner for two at your favorite upscale restaurant, you will receive tremendously discounted rounds at some of the area's best golf courses. Golf Club at Southampton, St. John's Golf and Country Club, Hidden Hills, Osprey Cove, the Yards added this year, Amelia River Golf Club, Eagle Landing, Fleming Island Golf Club, and Queens Harbor Yacht and Country Club. Plus, you'll receive a free smoothie from Smoothie King, a free hat from Dome Hats, a free shirt at Baker's Sports, and a discount on a purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Play 2 rounds of golf, and the card pays for itself. $69, that's it. Some of the proceeds go to the Dream 18 charity as well. Buy the card at ActionSportsShacksDream18.com. Supplies are limited. Go to ActionSportsShacksDream18.com.
I spend a lot of my days in meetings with clients, and my ringer is off for hours. But I never worry about missing a call from a client or prospective client because I use Smith AI. All right, you're probably wondering, what the heck is that? Smith AI is a 24/7 virtual receptionist service. Their award-winning professional receptionists answer my calls and schedule appointments. They even make outbound sales calls for me. They've helped me get many new clients. Visit smith.ai to read 5-star reviews and use code PHONE for $100 off. Trust me, every small business needs Smith AI.
Today, we want to wish the USO a very happy birthday.
the Players is proud to support the USO of Greater Jacksonville, which helps keep our service members connected to family, home, and country. It's 32 days until the Players.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
It's that time of year when folks everywhere scratch their heads and wonder, what can I get my love for Valentine's Day? You know what your darling really wants from you to make them feel special? Finally updating the chipped and faded paint on your house. Rhino Shield is a revolutionary permanent ceramic coating that's a superior alternative to paint and vinyl siding.
Rhino Shield is perfect for stucco, brick, vinyl, coquina exteriors, and it's the ideal solution for any residential or commercial buildings.
It comes with a 25-year warranty,
so you'll never have to paint again.
Hurry, book now and take advantage of our special Valentine's Day sale and save up to 25%, but you'll have to call today.
Visit us at rhinoshieldjacks.com or call 904-519-5055.
Well, the holidays are behind us, and that means nothing but open road ahead. So make every mile this new year the best it can be in a new Toyota from Arlington Toyota. Camry, Corolla, RAV4, Tundra, Tacoma. Arlington Toyota's got 500 new Toyotas available and ready for wherever you want to go in 2022. Plus, every new car purchase from Arlington Toyota comes with a lifetime warranty and Arlington's 30-day exchange program. Where will your new Toyota take you in 2022? Find out and shop arlingtontoyota.com today.
The Tom Coughlin J Fund Wine Tasting Gala is back. Thursday, March 3rd, join Coach Coughlin on the scenic downtown riverfront for culinary delights from 35 of Jacksonville's best restaurants and hundreds of the world's most renowned wines. Go to tcjfund.org/wine.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
I'm Steve Lennox. Major League Baseball Players Association today rejecting MLB's offer of federal mediation. Major League Baseball has said it believes mediation is the best route to break the deadlock in negotiations on a new CBA between the two sides. NFL Seahawks expected to promote defensive line coach Clint Hurtt to defensive coordinator. ESPN NFL analyst Sam Acho on how players are reacting this week to former Dolphins head coach Brian Flores filing a lawsuit this week against the league and 3 teams.
Well, to be honest, David, it's not just black players. Rob Ninkovich, who works for ESPN, a former player as well, he expressed his frustration. He's white. He expressed his frustration at the Brian Flores situation. He says, man, if it weren't for Brian Flores, I wouldn't be the player that I am today. Rob Ninkovich played in New England where Brian Flores was a defensive coordinator. Now what I think we need is for NFL players, superstar players, to start speaking up collectively about it.
Sam Acho on SportsCenter. Clippers and Blazers agreeing on a trade that sends Norman Powell and Robert Covington to L.A. Blazers acquire Eric Bledsoe, Justice Winslow, Keon Johnson, and a 2025 draft pick. That from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski.
The new Venture X card from Capital One. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel. Plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
You know, obviously it's the closest in age I've ever been to a head coach. You know, I think just getting to know him and him getting to know me, we got comfortable with each other very quickly. I've enjoyed working with him. It's been a blast. You know, obviously he demands that a lot out of me, and likewise, you know, the other way. So it's been fun to push each other. And try to get the best out of each other week in and week out.
Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford. Have you seen the latest trend going on in Detroit right now in terms of T-shirts? One of their big like T-shirt manufacturers for like Detroit Lions. They made a new one now where it's the Lions logo, but it's got a Rams head, and it said "Let's go Detroit Rams." And I might have to pick one up because it's cool.
If the Rams win, Detroit wins, right?
Oh, without a doubt, Casey.
It's like and St. Louis, everybody wins.
I mean, I guess St. Louis as well. Yeah, it's a good call. I didn't think about even St. Louis. But do you think St. Louis is kind of bitter, though, that they left?
Yeah, but if their team wins, they're going to be like, wait a minute, the Rams are champs. They're not going to say which Rams. They're not going to say the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I'm sure they're still going to cheer along. But no, I mean, having brief interactions with Matthew Stafford when I was in Detroit, just a salt of the earth type of dude. Obviously a guy who I think was vastly underappreciated in the NFL for a long time just because, you played for the Detroit Lions and he had a couple playoff appearances, but couldn't really make that deep run just because maybe you didn't have the best environment to facilitate that. And it's cool when, you're on the back nine of your career, obviously, and you can go just in 1 year and go to the Super Bowl, man. That's the cool thing about football, I think, is that if you pay your dues and you play at a high level, then you have the opportunity. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be 100%, but you have an opportunity to make things right. Maybe get traded, maybe sign a free agent deal and go to a competitive team. Or you can be like Tom Brady, absolutely dominate, and then go to a new team and dominate as well. But in terms of storylines, the Stafford one is up there. Obviously, Joe Burrow is another big storyline that we're going to be following. I mean,
it's literally America's team against America's quarterback.
Casey, let me ask you this. Who needs the Super Bowl more right now in their career? Matthew Stafford or Joe Burrow? Now, I preface this by saying this. Obviously, the obvious answer could be Matthew Stafford, but the guy's got a Hall of Fame career, I believe, already. I mean, I'm not sure where the stats are, where the yardage is, everything like that, but I bet he's up there. So he's already built a legacy regardless of the Super Bowl victory. Who needs it more?
Yeah, I'm not playing along very well here, but I will say Matthew Stafford because the Rams have to win with what they did to get him.
Sure.
And if you make it this far, which is an accomplishment, but not when you've built the team the Rams have. So I think if they don't win, what will be used against them is you lost to the Bengals who won 4 games the year before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
I think they'll hold the loss against them in the Super Bowl pretty badly.
It's a great call because we don't know what the Rams are going to be like here in the next 3, 4, or 5 years. They're in win now mode. And you're absolutely right. I think okay, you got to the Super Bowl and that's great. That shows what you're doing right now in terms of sacrificing all your first round picks. It's working. But when the dust settles and the smoke clears, if you're not hoisting that Lombardi, then what was it all for? You can be the Jacksonville Jaguars here back in 2017 and be minutes away from going to a Super Bowl, but people forget about that already. That it was a flash in the pan. It is what it is, but history will quickly write you off as years go by. Now, getting to a Super Bowl is different, obviously, but being on the losing side of that Super Bowl, history could probably forget about you as well. So, yeah, that's, I was honestly thinking Burrow just because there is so much hype around this guy, and I think that it shows if you have the right quarterback, you have the right coach, you have the right system in place, anything is possible in 1 or 2 years. But now you kind of talked me into it. Yeah, I think the Rams do have to win this.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel. But at the same time, to your point that you originally thought you were going to make.
Yeah.
when it's like Big Ben, for example, he won 2, right?
Yes.
If you're Joe Burrow, if you want to play that side, there's no guarantee. I mean, he's great, and we get that, and they look like they're going to be really good. There's no guarantee they ever go back.
It's a good point, too.
This might be his only shot.
It's a good point, too. Yeah. One would assume with their salary cap, with everything that's transpired, that they're only going to get better. Joe Burrow, I think, is only going to get better. Jamar Chase is only going to get better, which is kind of hard to believe because, his rookie year, you're already putting him up there as a top probably 8, maybe even, I don't want to say maybe top 5, but maybe a top 5 wide receiver. That says something. But you're right, Casey. You're absolutely right, where I see a team like the Green Bay Packers, who arguably for a long time had the best, if not the second best next to Tom Brady quarterback in the league.
That would have been a better example than Big Ben.
But it's in the same realm. But what do they have to show for it? They have 1 Super Bowl victory. They have 1 Super Bowl appearance, and that's it. So I think it's a great comparison where we just assume that the Bengals going forward now are going to be at the top of the division, of making noise in the playoffs, of maybe getting a string of Super Bowl runs together, just like we kind of assumed with Kansas City. But history shows us it doesn't always work like that. We got to stop having the New England Patriots here in mind and saying that's going to happen again. I don't think it happens again, even with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. I don't think what the Patriots and Tom Brady were able to replicate will ever happen again. I think that story has wrote itself and it's gone. So, yeah, it's a great call where you can say, well, can Joe Burrow get back here once again?
But to your point, it will be tougher for Joe Burrow to get back because he's going to have to continuously beat Mahomes.
Correct.
And everybody else.
Yeah.
Well, and we got to lower our expectation a little bit too, right? Like, I mean, what is relative to the Patriots, right, to where we think? Like, I think this 4-year run of Kansas City, if they got one more Super Bowl, that would be relative enough. You lose a couple times the AFC Championship game, or you go to 3 Super Bowls and you win 2, however that would have manifested itself. I think, to me, like, that's more the measuring stick is more the Dallas Cowboys, right? When what did they do? 3 out of 4, I think it was in the 90s. It's like the San Francisco 49ers in that stretch. You know, those kind of teams where you can get a few in a 4 to 5 year stretch. That's really where our minds need to go back to instead of the Patriots.
Yeah.
But you do bring up a good point. Are the Bengals here to stay? And they play in a very difficult division. But they do have the best quarterback right now in the division, or at least playing the best football. I mean, we'll see what happens with Lamar Jackson. Baker Mayfield has a lot to prove. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, well, they're looking for a quarterback. So that will certainly help.
Yeah.
So what is the answer there, though? Do you think they – I mean, not to say, again, the Patriots, but could they go on are they going to be a perennial playoff team? Let's just begin there.
I think even a perennial division winner year in and year out because, you still have the Baltimore Ravens. We'll see what happens with the Cleveland Browns. So it's going to be competitive. But, yeah, I mean, I guess in Burrow I trust. In the youth I trust. And in the coaches right now I do trust. So I think, yeah, you're going to see the Cincinnati Bengals for the next couple of years in the playoffs. Now, whether they can make a run or not, I mean, I think Mahomes is still going to be there. Depending what happens in Tennessee, can they get a high-profile quarterback? I don't know. But it's going to be a tough road. But, yeah, I think they're going to be up to the challenge.
Yeah, I think they obviously have some dynamic guys that can be – that trio is going to be together for a while with Higgins, Chase, and Burrow, you know, at the very least. They could do so much better on their offensive line, which is the crazy part. Like, they could actually get better on their offensive line. And I think they actually could get even more dynamic on their defense with some playmakers. Be interesting to see how they choose to spend their money potentially to do that. And now Burrow comes with a different – this isn't sneaking up on you. You know, he could sneak up on people a little bit this year.
Yeah.
Like the Baltimore Ravens, it felt like he snuck up on them. It's like, yeah, whatever. You guys are Cincinnati. You're not beating us. And then, boom, throws for like 8 touchdowns and 800 yards against him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think that's something to keep an eye on is how does the league react to Burrow and the Bengals, and can they counterpunch? Because the Chiefs have proven to be able to counterpunch. The Patriots did that for a long time.
Yep.
That will be fun to watch.
We got Clay Arbor calling right now?
We do. Why?
Okay.
What you got?
Well, because we haven't done Slam Poetry yet, but we're going to wait till after he's done.
Oh, you didn't do it?
No, we had...
Maybe he'll stay on for it.
No, we're all good, man.
Oh.
Maybe we should have stayed on for the envelope opening. We're all good, man.
Let's hope Slam Poetry's better than that.
We'll see. We'll see.
Eesh.
We'll see.
All right, let's get to it right now. How about Clay Harbor? Former Jacksonville Jaguars tight end, former Philadelphia Eagles tight end. Played for Doug Pederson, by the way, when Doug was an assistant coach, not the head coach. He joins us on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, former Jags player, Austin Lane. And before we get to Doug, Clay, it's great to talk to you, man. And I'm thinking in my mind, who has had their shirt off in public more since their football days have been over, you or Austin Lane?
I would like to say Austin has, but I'd probably be lying. I rarely wear a shirt. And Austin does live in Jacksonville. I live in Chicago. He might have me beat, but that'd be the only reason.
Fair enough. Yeah.
There you go. I'm not in that mix.
Yeah, I can see that it is Jacksonville. It's toasty around here.
Hey, give it to us, Clay. You know, I saw you tweet, and I was like, you know what? You played for him. Obviously, good Jacksonville connection. I know you'd love to see the Jags do better than they've done. Tell us a little bit about Doug and your experience, even though it was years ago.
Yeah, it was years ago, but Doug's a great guy. When I got drafted to the Eagles back in the 2010 draft, Doug was the quarterback coach there, and one of the first coaches I met. I just remember him being, really nice guy. He's a player's coach. The guys liked talking to him. down-to-earth guy. He's talking to the guy in the practice squad. He's talking to the guy that's the 10-year vet. One thing I noticed about Doug fairly early is he was paid a lot of attention to detail, right? He's a former quarterback. You'd see him working a lot on the mechanics with the quarterbacks. At that point, Kafka had just got drafted to the Eagles. You know, we had Michael Vick there. We had Kevin Cobb. We had, Nick Foles came later. But he's always working on fundamentals. He's working on hips. He's working on pointing your shoulders. He's working on where to point your eyes. And the reason he's doing all that is because he played quarterback. And Austin can attest to this. It's easier to relate and to form a relationship, a bond with a guy that you know has played the game, that's been through the same stuff you have. And I think that's great, and that's what the Jaguars needed is a guy that coached quarterback, played quarterback, offensive coordinator, just an offensive guy. I'm sure that their biggest priority this offseason is progressing Trevor Lawrence because they want him to be the guy, the franchise quarterback, number 1 overall pick. So I'm really happy. I'm a Jags fan. I always follow the Jags. It hasn't been great lately, but I'm excited about Doug. I think he can help turn around this organization.
Clay, when we talk about, Doug Pederson and the kind of scheme that he likes to run, some of his principles, some of his philosophies, what are we talking about here on offense?
Yeah, he's the same. Comes from the Andy Reid, Mike Shanahan, the old West Coast offense, Marty Mornhinweg, the old school Kansas City Chiefs guy. He learned under Andy Reid. He played with Mike Holmgren, the Packers. This guy's in the West Coast offense. They like to throw the ball. Think of what Kansas City does. Andy Reid, what he did in Philly a little bit with Carson Wentz when Carson Wentz was a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback. They like to throw the ball, but they also run the ball as well. But it's the short, quick passing game. Take a shot here, take a shot there. And I love that offense. He's going to get the tight end the ball. He also needs a couple good threats outside. I would expect them to go after a wide receiver and maybe even a tight end in this draft. And, that's the style of coach and offense they run. And, I think he's perfect guy for that, and as well as, the fundamentals in teaching the quarterback position.
Former Jags tight end, former Philadelphia Eagles tight end Clay Harbor with us, and good to catch up with Clay here on ESPN 690. Let me stay on the tight end part of that because obviously your position. But if you think of the Philadelphia Eagles under Pederson, and obviously you were there when he was an assistant, so the tight end in the Eagles offense, like we know it. We love it. We wish we had it. Like the Jags tight end room has not been productive for a while. They do have Dan Arnold now, and now you start to wonder with all this. We went over the free agents earlier this week, Austin. I mean, can he revamp the tight end room and really turn it up a notch?
Well, and keep in mind, too, he's a big proponent, I'm sure, of Travis Kelce because he was there for Travis Kelce's rookie year as well as an offensive coordinator in Kansas City.
So, Clay, take us inside that room and that offense, and why does it highlight the tight end so well?
Absolutely. Back in my playing days, we had Brent Selleck, and then, they went to Zach Ertz, and then, he went to Travis Kelce. They've always had a good tight end in a lot of his playing days when, Phillies with Zach Ertz and Goddard there at the end there. But you need a big tight end because they like to stretch the seams. You can't just rely on a guy outside. You need a guy that can run down the seam, stretch the seam. The safety can't cheat to one side or the other. That's why Kelce was so effective. Ertz was so effective, a guy that can run routes, catch the ball. I think Doug will bring a sense of improvement to the tight end room as coaching-wise, but I think he might even, bring another guy in there, another big target that can stretch the seam, catch the ball over the middle, and you got to have a guy that can block too because they run the ball, and a lot of it's predicated on play action in the early downs. Play action, hit the seam with the tight end. Play action, hit a deep cross with the tight end. The wide receiver on a deep post over the top. So if you can't do both, you're going to have to block and you're going to have to catch balls in this offense with the tight end. So I think some of these guys got the work cut out for them, but I think it's a great opportunity for a guy like Arnold because, he's going to get the opportunity to catch some balls,
Clay Harbor with us. Now, did he give you, like, ice cream even as an assistant, or did that just happen, like, when he became a head coach?
Oh, the ice cream. Yeah, no, as an assistant, Andy Reid's deal was he always gave us cheeseburgers. We go to a town, he said we want to check out these cheeseburgers. So I think Doug's was a little bit different with the ice cream. But, yeah.
He verified your story, Austin.
I wasn't lying, man. I told you because I was in Kansas City a little bit as well. Do you think does Pederson do the fast food Fridays or fried food Fridays as Andy Reid does or not?
Andy loves his food. I don't know if Pederson does it as a head guy. I know back under Andy, they do a lot of the same things. The guy that you coach under, the guy that your tutor, your mentor, they take things from you. And I think that's one of the things that Doug has taken, but maybe switched it up a little bit with the ice cream, with, different type of snack, because, Coach Reed was the fried food, was the burgers. And, like to stay along the same lines and do the same type of thing, the same general outline of how they coach and how they work their team.
Clay Harbor had a nice career out of Missouri State, 4th-round pick, played in the league for 9 years with the Eagles, the Jags, the Patriots, the Lions, the Saints. And I want to ask you about that because from the outside looking in, you've been in different spots. You've been in the Detroits and the Jacksonvilles. You've been in the New Englands and some success in Philly, and you see what happens in the Saints organization too.
Yes.
It's not just Doug Pederson, man. Like, we know that. Like, we know the Jags need to make more good decisions than just Doug Pederson. They need to make good free agency picks, draft picks. They need to get the structure right. Is it obvious the Jags don't have it set up right to a guy that's been in the organization, now sees it from the outside?
What I noticed when I left Jacksonville is the accountability difference. Looking back, when I left Jacksonville back in 2016 to sign with the Patriots, I honestly, looking back, it was I don't say I regret things, but looking back, I think I should have stayed in Jacksonville. I had the same contract offer with the Jags, the Patriots, the Buccaneers, a couple teams, and I ended up leaving Jacksonville to go to New England because I thought that it'd be a good opportunity to play and maybe get a championship ring. And looking back at it, I had a couple injuries in New England, couldn't last. A couple injuries, played half the season, got released, and then getting picked up by the Lions. But what I did notice going from a Gus Bradley Jacksonville Jaguar team to a Bill Belichick Patriot team was the difference in accountability. It was fun playing in Jacksonville. I love Gus. He was more of a positive reinforcement guy. Everybody strive for victory, play your best. There's no negativity. But for a young team, that's tough sometimes because the accountability slips. He's given a lot of these guys, the accountability on their own to do what's right. And the one thing I noticed was the details and the accountability. And I think with a veteran coach, a guy that's been around the league like Doug, I think he's going to bring that sense of, I've been here, I've done this, I know what it takes to be successful. I've been successful, I've won a Super Bowl. And I think he can bring that to Jacksonville. At least that's what I hope he can do. And obviously his pass in the quarterback position, he can bring around Trevor. But, Doug has been in different organizations and has seen different things. So I'm hoping he brings that accountability to Jacksonville.
Clay, my co-host Brent here mentioned, Missouri State. Let's go back to 2009. Murray State, Missouri State. Now, let's not talk about the score, all right? No one's worried about that. But
is this an OVC matchup?
No, it's not an OVC matchup. Let's go back to 2009. Let's go back to Springfield, Missouri. 97 from Murray State. Might have had 3 sacks that game. Were you worried about chipping? Did you go to your coach and say, can we chip number 97? Or were you just, I'm here to catch balls and not block?
I mean, honestly, in college, I was there to catch balls. I don't know if I'm mistaken, but, what really matters is who won. And I'm pretty sure the Bears won that matchup. And
well, Clay, I can't play offense too, man. I can only do so much, dude. But no, you guys spanked us, by the way, 35-10.
35-10, but you had 3 sacks in the game.
Yeah.
Clay, that's
3 sacks? I don't remember that. I need to go check the stats there, the stat book. But I was a receiving tight end as Austin. I could run block, but back in the day, I wasn't much of a pass blocker. They wanted me out on the routes, as Austin probably knows. But no, Austin was a force, man. We had the game plan for him. Dude, 6'6", big jack guy, and we had some good tackles, and Austin definitely got the better of him. So that was impressive.
Clay, this is where I run out of the room after I say this, but that day equaled his NFL total.
All right, everybody. All right, guys, you have a great weekend
I got the bat on my side of the day.
You have a great weekend. Well, I'm out.
Yeah, I feel like Austin knows a couple of MMA moves over there, so I'd be careful.
I don't think he even needs those moves with me, man. Clay Harbor with us. Hey, I can't let you go until I tell you this part of the story because Casey is our producer, right? He's 24, I think. And so I said, hey, Clay Harbor's coming on. Yeah. All right. And Casey does a great job. He calls you. He makes the graphic. It's up there on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Clay Harbor's on the phone. And he writes back and he texts. He's like, is that the Bachelor guy?
Of course, I knew it was coming.
I'm like,
I knew it was coming.
You're like 10 years older than Casey, and you're known as the Bachelor guy instead of the guy that played in the NFL for 9 years. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Do you like that?
I do not like that. Honestly, it's crazy. Nobody even know. Like, I spend my whole career as this football player, and then I go on one reality TV show, man, and that's all I'm known as. I'm the guy, I'm the guy from that show. I'm not even going to mention it. But, it's pretty funny, though. It was a good experience. Obviously, I didn't win, but it was cool. It was a cool experience. A lot of similarities between football and The Bachelor. You're out there, you're competing. You got a bunch of guys out there competing against each other. So it was fun, and it was a cool experience. Let me know, Austin, if you want me to put in a call for you, maybe to get on the show, man.
Well, Clay, I think my wife would have words with you if that was the case, so let's not get me in trouble. But
yeah, I guess I should have asked your relationship status first.
Oh, no, it's all good.
That's drama. That's drama. ABC loves the drama.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
Big thing right there.
Well, in that case, I mean, if it boosts the Twitter follower, no, I'm all good, man.
Maybe
We're all
help
good.
the show.
Yeah,
I mean, Cody would understand.
Now we're talking. Yeah.
Hey, Clay, give everybody an update. What are you up to now? And you're in Chicago?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm living in Chicago. I'm a certified personal trainer. I do some training. I just came out with a workout program. I run an outdoor fitness classes in the months that allow it in Chicago. It's called Fitness at the Park. And I do some keynote speaking, some motivational speaking, kind of telling my story from, coming from poverty, single mother upbringing to reaching the NFL and just being successful, graduating college, all that good stuff. And, motivating a lot of universities, high schools, kids, even some small businesses, some corporations.
Hey, check it out, ClayHarborOnline.com. Clay, a lot of fun, man. Let's not wait until the Jags hire a guy that you played for to catch up again.
Absolutely, guys. My phone line's open. Shoot me a text. You ever want to talk Jags? I love Jacksonville. I definitely want to get out there soon. But if you guys ever want to talk Jags, hit me up. I'll be happy to get in the line.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
Clay.
it.
Appreciate you, man.
Nice talking to you guys.
All right, that's Clay Harbor, former Jags tight end, former Eagles tight end, played for Doug Pederson. Really good insight on Doug and the tight end room. Now, keep an eye on that here in Jacksonville. That could be a really big thing because you think tight ends, and you think Baltimore, and I think you kind of do think the Eagles.
You do?
Right?
No, this is true. And you see Zach Ertz is still doing the dang thing in Arizona.
Yeah.
So he's still got a lot left in the tank.
Good stuff. Let's take a break. We come back. We have NBA Slam Poetry. We still have to open up some football cards to end the week with a bang. In the latest on, I have one similarity with the last few hires for Shad Khan I want to ask you about. It's not a long discussion, but I find it interesting. And do you think he's looking for this quality in the people that he's hiring? I'll share it with you when we come back as well. NBA Slam Poetry, and we open some football cards to end the week. Hope you're doing well, everybody. Doug Pederson, the new coach here in Jacksonville. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Showers at times this evening and overnight and turning much cooler by morning. Temperatures will drop to near 50 degrees, leading to a very cool Saturday. It'll be partly to mostly cloudy and breezy. A few brief showers, but highs only in the mid-50s. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burridge.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Get the guaranteed lowest price at the only locally owned diamond store in the St. John's Town Center. Now is the time to get an estimate on replacement windows. American Window Products of Jacksonville is a high-volume dealer offering a huge selection of products to keep your costs low. New windows from American Window Products can lower your energy costs and increase your curb appeal and security, all without breaking the bank. Call American Window Products for a free estimate at 904-667-0873 or visit AmericanWindowProducts.com. Do you know why you see so much camera footage of crimes? Wasn't the camera supposed to deter the crime in the first place? That's because they weren't Safe Touch cameras. You don't want to see someone breaking into your car. You want to see it before it happens. That's what Safe Touch cameras do. They alert you via text or video notification beforehand, giving you time to react to the situation. And Safe Touch cameras have 24/7 video storage in the cloud, the safest and securest way to store important events that only you, the Safe Touch customer, control. And here's the best news yet. You can get the Safe Touch surveillance system with 3-color cameras, 24-hour recording, secure storage for as little as $39.95 per month, including 24/7 service, cloud storage, and camera warranty. Camera installation is additional charge. This system will work with any security system or no security system at all. Or bundle the 2-way communicator package for additional savings. Find out how you can get a free survey and demonstration at safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233.
The Tom Coughlin J Fund Wine Tasting Gala is back. On Thursday, March 3rd, join Coach Coughlin on the scenic downtown riverfront for culinary delights from 35 of Jacksonville's best restaurants and taste hundreds of the world's most renowned wines. Have a fun night out and be there to help provide financial and emotional support for local families who are tackling childhood cancer. To buy tickets for this outdoor event, go to tcjfund.org/wine.
The Florida Forum Speaker Series, brought to you by the Women's Board of Wolfson Children's Hospital, is underway. Don't miss 4-time Super Bowl champion and broadcaster Terry Bradshaw on January 20th and Grammy Award winner and songwriter Tim McGraw on February 16th. The series takes place at the Times Union Center for the Performing Arts. Get your tickets today at thefloridaforum.com. The Florida Forum has contributed more than $9.2 million to the Wolfson Children's Hospital of Jacksonville.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Ready for an oil change? We can help get the right protection at the right price. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Daily Protection or Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil with an STP oil filter for just $28.99. Visit one of our 6,000 stores or order from AutoZone.com for same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
So you finally got your credit score up to 700. You're feeling good, about to get a new credit card with rewards. You apply and, ooh, it's not approved. And that knocks your score right out of the 700 club. There's a better way. Next time, go to Credit Karma and check out your approval odds first so you can find a card you're more likely to get approved for. And with over 100 million members, there are plenty of reviews to help you choose. Get your free credit scores and find the right card for you at Credit Karma. Approval not guaranteed, subject to checks.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good. Really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless. Now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Got a party of 10 coming in. We need to flip those 2 tables.
Leah's restaurant is fully booked night after night.
Section 3 is still behind.
She no longer has reservations about finally finding a hostess.
Why doesn't 23 have menus? Oh, because they're in my hand.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Ray Magliozzi here. Have you ever cooked a really fine gourmet meal? Yeah, me neither. But I'm told it all comes down to the ingredients. And when I need ingredients to improve my car, the place I go is eBay Motors. Whether you roasted your last transmission, graded your current floor mats, or pureed your side view mirror on a lamppost, eBay Motors has the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. And by the way, if you recently fired up your grill, don't worry, eBay Motors has grills too. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Sure, we have 30 seconds to tell you that drivers who switch to Progressive could save big. But then what? Well, radio has been called theater of the mind, so let's tell a story with sound effects. Wow, it's like I was in the story. Almost makes me forget this was supposed to be about saving big with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe.
It's hard to find the words for it, but just grateful. I'm grateful. I'm humbled.
Obviously, it's been a long journey to get here individually, but just proud of the way this team has competed this year.
Really quickly, Cotton, your teammates, how was it? How do they celebrate with you? And even DeMar, I mean, come on, it's a fairy tale.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just a testament to the relationships that I've built over the years and staying true to myself and, trying to pour into other guys. And, I guess they were happy for me. So it's I'm never really excited, so that was a cool moment.
I didn't listen to a lot of it early on. I missed, I think, the part I needed to hear.
Sorry, I was getting my notes ready.
Was that from the skills competition last night, or is that an NBA thing?
That's an NBA thing.
That was an NBA thing.
I figured because we have NBA slam poetry.
Yeah, we do.
It's been a long 24 hours. I could have guessed that. So
Yeah,
who was the player?
Nobody's mad at you, Brent.
I didn't really hear a lot of it either. Sorry, I was trying to get my email ready for my slam poetry.
You're getting ready.
I'm getting ready.
All right. Who
good.
was it? Casey?
Sorry, Casey.
Fred VanVleet. I'm not exactly sure what he did, but I saw the sound that said Fred VanVleet.
He's going to an All-Star game. I'll tell you that much.
Is he still
Maybe
good?
That's it.
Yeah, Fred Van. Yeah, he's taking another level now. Since they kind of need a guy.
He was
to step
really
up.
good during that run, and then these guys you just don't hear about.
Undrafted, right? From
a great story.
Virginia Common.
Wow,
No,
BCU
BCU. Yeah, BCU.
Yeah, Virginia Commonwealth. Yeah.
Is that Commonwealth?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think
Good work
so.
there.
I have no idea,
Don't
but
quote me
I
on
will tell you that I made a boatload of money when I first got into sports betting because I bet Toronto to win that finals, and then I bet them to win in each game. So I missed 3 of them, but they won 4-2, so that one hit.
Oh,
Plus
dang.
they won. Yeah, so I ended up making a lot of money.
And I was going to say, just to win the finals that year for Toronto must have been pretty good.
Oh, yeah,
right?
it was.
I bet it was. Yeah, I remember being Eastern Conference Finals at Las Vegas, watching AEW, the very first pay-per-view ever, and then I'm watching the Bucks Raptors. I think it was Game 6, Game 5, whatever it was on my phone, and I watched the Milwaukee Bucks bite the bullet there.
It's NBA slam poetry time. We have to get it in.
Got to get it in.
I asked this question. Is there a Doug Pederson mention?
I guess you'll find out.
Is there an envelope mention?
I guess you'll find out.
Is there a Trent Baalke mention?
Hey, even if I told you the truth, I'd still lie to you, huh? Because that's what we do on the show now.
No, just once. Just once.
Okay.
It was just one lie. We're allowed one lie.
Okay.
It was a fib.
What are we on now? Is this Slam Poetry Volume 5?
5.
Is this my 5th slam piece?
The lights. I'm
Man,
glad, by the way. I thought you guys were doing this an
Right?
hour ago. I'm glad you waited
Casey
for
got
me.
that one.
I even wore my tie.
Oh, yeah, but you
Got a
got to be a
little
little
dressed up.
casual. Well, Can you loosen up a little bit?
I gotta loosen
there
up
we
even
go.
more.
Roll up those sleeves if you've got some sleeves.
I don't
bro.
feel like doing that. It's
Man,
work.
I wish I had a turtleneck. You don't roll up the sleeves at all?
I usually do.
Okay, I was going to say.
But
got to. All right. Got to make sure this thing's in tune.
Me too.
Got to prep for character. You guys good? Guys good with the ums and the... Oh, we got Captain Rick on? You want to do Captain Rick real quick, and then we'll get back to
Let
Slam Poetry?
Captain Rick listen to this.
All right, here we go. Well, Casey's on the phone, though.
Well, he'll listen to it.
Okay, all right. Is it...
Yeah.
All right. Ready to go? All right. Chris Paul, player of the week like a good neighbor. Cue the jingle. Pour out a Foster's, torn ACL. Jazz in trouble. Hey, get better, Joe Ingles.
ACL.
Durant out. Harden out. Kyrie Irving still not vaxxed. J.R. Smith said he'll come back in the right situation. Oh, I'm sorry. Did anybody ask? Did you? Did you ask? I sure didn't. Yeah. I thought you were on the golf course. Braun is out. Lakers have no king, but Westbrook is wearing the crown. Cult the Departed Part 2. Shipping from Boston. Trade rumors for Jaylen Brown. You like this one, Brent. Suns are white, hot, calm, and Odyssey putter. They are on a roll. 4th place in the East. Darius Garland is playing like butter.
Odyssey putter. Nice.
Man, white hot
drop.
I had to Google that a little
White
bit.
hot, too.
Yeah, you like that? You see? Hey, there's layers to this, Brent.
Very good.
Dunk contest is going to go crazy, more wild than the last Avengers scene. Going to be showcased by 3 bench players in the Orlando Magic's Jalen Green. Nobody asked for it. John Morant, get in there. Please help us out. Speaking of John Morant, Ja Real. Guy can rebuild the team. Put that guy in teal. Shooting the tray. Might as well call him Lance. Go against him if you want, but it's like O'Connell and the Jaguars, because at the end of the day, there is no chance. Yeah, no chance of getting O'Connell. Sorry. Yep. Oh, I'm on fire now. If this was college slam poetry, I'd be busting brackets. Always bringing the good, bringing the fire. Not disappointing like an envelope with Nathaniel Hackett. Oh, I took the stick. That's a Bible alert. That's a vibe alert, and the stick went flying. I just broke the stick.
He broke the bongo.
Oh, man, too many vibes. Reel it back in, All right. Raptors clawing far from extinct with Gary Trent. Dude might be a bigger secret than No Country for Old Men. Have you seen that one, Brent? Oh, that's another vibe alert. Back-to-back vibe alerts. All right, we got two more. Bear with me. Remember that time when you hyped Zion? Wait, I'm sorry, we got to redo it. Okay. Remember that time when I hyped Zion, when you and Kuz hyped up LaMelo Ball, living that dream? Well, unlike Zion, LaMelo's playing, and guess what? He's not on an all-star team. Backed the wrong horse on that one. Somebody
playing.
That's a good point. And he's not 300 pounds either. Somebody better check the Knicks. They fall and got pulled by a rug. Someone still needs to check on the Jags, but hey, at least we got a head coach. Welcome to Jacksonville, Doug. And that's been Slam Poetry Volume 5.
Wow, that is good stuff today. Hey,
heart rate's at an all-time high.
It is.
And I broke my stick.
I broke the bongo.
I broke the bongo.
And I find out that I have tears in my eyes every time this segment runs now. I'm laughing so much.
Good, bud.
That is good stuff once again. And I appreciate your late ads.
Oh, yeah, you like that, huh?
The hacking it from the envelope.
Yeah.
And the Doug. Like, that's really good.
Well, here you are conducting interviews, and here I am just trying to, what rhymes with... What rhymes with envelope? Or what can I? Yeah, exactly. What rhymes with hack it? Okay.
Do we have Captain Rick on? He heard all that? Oh, he's going to have to judge it. Captain Rick, we're going to make you do that now for the fishing report each and every day.
You need to be careful what you wish for, my boy. But listen, I'll be in that studio in the morning. Austin, would you leave that espresso machine plugged in, please?
You got it, man. Without a doubt.
I'm gonna stick my head under there and get an IV just like you do.
You better believe it.
That was a great segment. Now, I'm not kidding you. Better than our fishing was, actually. We had some pretty good fishing today. The Yellowmouth Trout are very glad to see Doug Pederson come to town. They put on quite a show today and bit well, but, boy, the redfish really did not. And, of course, it was too rough to get offshore. It's going to continue to be too rough to get offshore as our next cold front comes through on the weekend, messes everything up. I think it'll be the middle of next week before our guys that are chasing tuna and wahoo will be back out. So looks to me like about Wednesday, Thursday, that may happen. But there's one thing you can count on. At 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, we'll bring you 2 hours of Austin-type insane asylum on the Florida Sports Magazine show. And we'll be back Monday with another fishing report brought to you by CSS Landscaping and Workman Quick Fix Plumbing. Thank you, boys.
Thanks, Captain Rick. Appreciate it. We'll listen in the morning, 7 a.m.
Hey, Jeff Bezos, what kind of operation are you running at Amazon?
Hey, the good thing about Amazon, probably send that back and they'll send you a new one.
Yeah, just a new
in
stick.
like an hour.
All right, cool. That's a good point. They're probably outside waiting. They probably watched this whole thing. They're probably waiting outside.
As we head to break,
yeah.
Do you think Shad Khan is looking on a resume for championship pedigree? Coughlin, Urban, and now Pederson. Is it coincidental? And I know, obviously, Urban didn't win at the NFL level, but it's 3 national titles, Super Bowl rings, 2 for Coughlin, and 1 for Pederson. Do you think it's part of his process now? I mean, is that a way to identify, like, he wants a winner? He wants a guy that's been there before?
Yeah, I think in terms of building that championship team, the more of those guys you can bring in, the better. Now, they haven't paid dividends necessarily. I mean, the Coughlin one did. You know, you got to the AFC Championship, but then it all fell apart. But you get the sense with this hiring, at least with Doug Pederson, he can relate to the players. He has won a Super Bowl. And, you know, he's only been out of the game for a little bit. So all those things trend in the right direction.
Yeah, I just found it interesting. I didn't think about it until, I don't know, whatever. Maybe it was early this morning. But I was like, wow, that's pretty wild. Coughlin, I know he wasn't the coach.
Yeah.
But still, get him in the building. And you know this, right? Especially the ring. Players, coaches, equipment managers. You got that Super Bowl ring. It really resonates inside a building.
Yeah.
And so Shad, I think, covets that. Yep. I think that's the one constant we've had. He's tried all these different things, but the one constant the last 3 times around is, hey, get me a guy that knows how to win it all.
No, I remember when we had Aaron Ross in the Jaguars because he won a Super Bowl ring, and we know how that panned out.
Sometimes it doesn't work out.
And we know how that panned out.
Maybe that's because of the Olympics and the gold medalist.
That's a nice segue.
At least we got that.
We did have that. We did have that.
That was a fun moment.
Oh, no, for sure. It was great.
Hey, we'll be back. We opened some cars. And by the Olympics, like they're actually happening. Maybe a prop bet or two on the Olympics. How about that? We'll come back and ESPN 690 wrap up a crazy week here in Jacksonville.
At Morgan & Morgan, the fee is free. You don't pay us anything unless we win your case.
Call me, Mark Anajar, at the law offices of Anajar & Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Voted best gift of the year for golfers by the ESPN 690 Golf Enthusiast Review Board. Want to make the golfer in your life love you even more? Order the 2022 ESPN Dream 18 card for just $69. Big discounts on golf all year. Golf courses are raising their rates with the recent boom. The Dream 18 card has even more value now. For less than dinner for two at your favorite upscale restaurant, you will receive tremendously discounted rounds at some of the area's best golf courses. Golf Club at Southampton, St. John's Golf and Country Club, Hidden Hills, Osprey Cove, the Yards added this year, Amelia River Golf Club, Eagle Landing, Fleming Island Golf Club, and Queens Harbor Yacht and Country Club. Plus, you'll receive a free smoothie from Smoothie King, a free hat from Dome Hats, a free shirt at Baker's Sports, and a discount on a purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Play 2 rounds of golf, and the card pays for itself. $69, that's it. Some of the proceeds go to the Dream 18 charity as well. Buy the card at ActionSportsShacks-Dream18.com. Supplies are limited. Go to ActionSportsShacks-Dream18.com.
Your First Coast Accurate dealers are making it easier to buy than ever with 2.9% APR. Cash in on thousands in savings and 2.9% APR on the all-new 3-row 2022 Acura MDX SUV. FirstCoastAccurateDealers.com. Offer excludes type S edition.
The right time for the best water is right now. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure your family's water is clean, healthy, and tastes great. CGC Water's done that for my family for a handful of years now, and it all starts with a Connecticut system. American-made and installed by the pros at CGC Water Treatment. Contact CGC Water Treatment now for your free water test. Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, twin-tank, non-electric systems that use less salt and water during regeneration. Right now, save up to $600 on select system packages. Financing available with approved credit. Just call CGC Water at 904-552-1242 and ask about the Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Get revved up for the Jacksonville International Auto Show because it's bigger than ever. We're adding an extra day. The show opens Thursday, February 17th at the Prime Osborne Convention Center. With inventory tight across Florida, it's your unique chance to experience the latest models. New EVs, crossovers, SUVs, and trucks. Rare exotics, remarkable classics. Tickets on Thursday the 17th are half price. Bring a food donation for Feeding Northeast Florida. Free parking from ViStar Credit Union. Discount coupons at gate gas stations. Get your tickets now at jacksautoshow.com.
The Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Square Sweepstakes is back. Every score change will draw one winner from the square to win $50,000. Plus, 2 grand prize winners will win $500,000 they could use toward their dream home. Get in the game for free at RocketMortgageSquares.com. Rocket Mortgage, official mortgage sponsor of Super Bowl 56.
No purchase necessary. Legal residence of the 50 U.S. and D.C. of age of majority ends 11/11/22. Equal housing lender licensed all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. The NFL entities have not offered to sponsor this promotion in any way.
Millions of people use Zoom Phone, the innovative and feature-rich cloud phone system for businesses of any size. Zoom Phone is simple to use, whether you're on a mobile device, desktop, laptop, or desk phone. And because every call is important to your business, Zoom Phone was built with reliability in mind, using geographic redundancy to keep your communications online. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Visit zoom.com/phone system. Zoom.
how the world connects.
Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
I love it if you know the truth. And I don't even know Brian Flores or all the details in the situation. But if you feel slighted and you obviously have seen what happens in the NFL, where the NFL has given incentives to hire a black coach. They're giving draft picks, they're giving all these incentives to hire a GM. That's how you know there's probably already a start of a problem, right? If you have to incentivize something, it's something that doesn't happen a lot. For Brian Flores to bring that out and to have the courage to stand on it, knowing that good and well, as he said, he may be blackballed from this. I mean, it takes courage, that takes everything, and I hope he's not. I hope he gets a chance, however the case may unfold.
The Brian Flores story, a big one this week, all across the NFL. Dan Snyder continues to be a big story as well. Things don't go away in Washington now. The NFL and Roger Goodell, listen, we can argue about how much money Roger Goodell makes this week. He's earning at least some of it because he's got a lot going on now, and he's got to answer the bell. He's better say the right things. He better do the right things. And it's kind of a mess for as big a product and good a product and the playoffs have been, and the football on the field stuff is. It's a mess right now off the field in the NFL. They've got some big issues they got to clean up.
Yeah, I mean, on the grand scheme of things, without over-exaggerating too much, this is bigger than sports, And we're going to see how everything plays out, who's telling the truth, who may be fabricating things. But at the end of the day, I think, if the truth does come out and the world's watching, it's going to be bigger than sports. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to be Roger Goodell right now, let's just say.
Well, we just got an email that Doug Pederson will be introduced tomorrow at the stadium at noon, along with Shad Khan and along with, as it reads, General Manager Trent Baalke.
Casey, come scoop me up tomorrow then, huh? And we'll go together?
Yeah, we can
Let's
carpool.
Get it. We'll carpool that.
I mean...
Ooh, that's the Thriller. That's the Michael Jackson Thriller. Hey, that's frightening.
So no mention, by the way. I just want to make this clear to everybody. No mention of Spielman in any capacity, right? Yeah. And so we don't know what's going on there. Maybe we'll get some insight. But the bottom line is they're going to parade Trent Baalke out there as part of this introduction. Trent Baalke is part of this organization moving forward, and at least in the immediate future. Yeah. We could sit here and talk about is it on the table for after the draft? We don't know that. They're not going to say that. But right now, this is a Trent Baalke, Doug Pederson moving forward organization until they tell us otherwise. And for all you folks that said Trent Baalke was going to be here, you are correct. For all you folks that said Trent Baalke, hey, listen, I told you I was going to live with it. Now, I might come back at you after the draft if it's not there.
Okay.
But
I think we said the combine.
Combine's fair enough.
I think the combine was
apology letter.
I think the combine is going to be the
go through a table and an apology letter.
Oh, I can't wait for that one. And if you want to make it a little slam poetry style, by all means, please do.
Yeah, I'm not talented enough for that, but
oh, thanks, man.
Does that put a major damper really on a day that had Doug Pederson and a little hope of Spielman, or is Doug Pederson enough to wash away the idea of Trent Baalke being a part of the organization?
Oh, man. And I assume they're going to be up there at the same time? Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be there taking bullets, Yeah. Him and Shad Khan. This is going to be hey, Doug, we'll talk to you later, man.
Yeah, this leads me to believe that Trent Baalke is going to be in this for the long haul then. Because I think if there was, and we'll see with the whole Spielman thing, what role he's going to play, but I don't think you put your new head coach with a GM that is getting a lot of negativity out there together at the introductory press conference unless you envision this thing going forward.
I agree. Yeah. I'd make the case that I wouldn't even put him out there if I did envision it going forward.
I really wouldn't either.
I wouldn't, because I think you're actually putting a stain on Doug Pederson's day.
Yes.
But listen, that's not my job. I'm not educated in the PR department as well, but I think it's an interesting look to do that. And it sets up for an interesting situation tomorrow at noontime. I'll find out for sure, and make sure you follow us along on CBS 47 and Fox 30. We could carry that live at noontime. I'm not sure of that yet.
Hey, why are we saying noontime? Why don't we just say noon?
Noonish.
Could be.
Yeah,
I don't know. I say noontime. Why do you get so mad about that?
Because why are we saying noontime?
Do you say just noon and I say noontime?
Does anybody else say anything other than noon?
I would just say noon, or if it was like, I would say ish.
Yeah.
You made me laugh when you also tweeted it. Noontime.
Oh, it's noon. You tweet noontime? Hey, hit the button. No, I'm kidding. Don't hit the button.
I don't know why I say noontime. I guess that's just the thing I say. That's the first time I've ever been brought up that I said it.
I like it. Well, hey, I like the accountability being held right now.
Yeah, a lot of
that. Yes.
A lot of it.
I love it.
I got to be honest with you, man.
Yes.
High noon. How about that? Is that a little better?
Not bad.
I think this does put a major damper on the last 24 hours or 18 hours or whatever it's been.
I mean,
I think this is
the thought that they're not going to grill Pederson so much about Balky because he's going to be there, and I guess they differ. Well, I mean, I'm trying to see where this organization is coming from by doing this.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
Shad, and if Trent's going to be a part of it, then he was part of the process, and we'll find more about it. But I do think this pounds home the idea, and I know everybody's like, I told you, but this pounds home the idea that did Doug Pederson change his mind? Did the rules change? Did the structure change? What happened? That's what's going to be interesting. What changed from December 30th to now? Did Doug Pederson say, hey, I'm not going to get a job, so I'll take this one?
Well,
Did he
Spielman
just grab
happened,
at
though,
it?
too, we think.
Well, maybe.
It's not for
Not
sure
announced.
yet.
We'll find that out.
Yeah.
And how
But
much
maybe
does that
Spielman
buffer?
happened. Yeah.
I'll be really interested to see how Doug Pederson answers that question, because there was some talk that Pederson wasn't as interested early on because of the presence of Balky. And so if that was true, why is he still there now? And what's the role? What changed his mind? And does Doug Pederson really need to be desperate for a job? I didn't really envision it
But,
like
Brett,
that.
here's the thing, though. We're not going to get the truthful answer.
Probably not. But you got to ask the questions.
No, I mean, definitely ask the questions, but, Doug Pederson's not going to bury himself the first day against the front office. You can't do that.
Yeah. So Trent Baalke, Shad Khan, and Doug Pederson.
Right around noontime.
Noontime. Or high noon. And by the way,
noonish.
I took a while to say Doug Pederson because, he was like an afterthought in that news conference.
That's sad.
Poor guy.
I mean, it kind of is. All right, we're going to get out of here in a couple minutes at Night News. Brandon Stevens, we're pulling cards here.
Well, man, which one are we doing first?
I
can we
did
set this
Kabooms.
up a little bit?
I did the absolute first.
Okay.
I know. Not even a tweet. He's too busy tweeting noontime.
I know. Nobody. Najee Harris.
That's good.
Jason Sanders. Heroes. Unsung heroes.
Yeah,
Jason Kelsey. There's an Eagle. Got something right off the rip.
Oh, I mean, keep going.
Devin White. Aaron Rodgers. AJ Green. No kabooms. Tell me you got a kaboom.
Not yet.
And
Well, because
Zay and a kaboom.
Nope. I opened the other ones first. The illusions. Ramondre Stevenson. This is like a sparkly one. Tim Tebow in Jacksonville Jaguars.
I told you he was in the set.
Oh, yeah.
So
you got a little Tebow
take that
card.
how you
Bang.
want.
That's a bang.
That's bang, bang, bang. We got a rookie, Justin Fields, in green.
That's good.
Is that a top loader?
It's more of a bang than Tim Tebow that you were screaming about.
Bang.
Well, the bang, 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 bang.
I forgot the top loaders, so.
Oh, man. Devontae Adams, Zach Wilson rookie card. Yeah.
Put it with Justin.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right.
You got one too, eh, Brent?
Tylan Wallace.
Justin Fields?
Who's Tylan Wallace?
Just put it aside.
He's a rookie from Baltimore?
Yeah, I know. Just put it aside.
That ain't Rashad Bateman.
No, it ain't.
Well, who's that then?
He's a person.
I didn't know there's another rookie wide receiver in Baltimore. All right.
Josh Palmer. Gosh, I can't read half these things. Pete Werner.
Javon Holland here. Davis Mills rookie card.
Jacob Harris.
I can't stop pulling. What is this?
Stephon Diggs. Spielman drafted him. Aaron Donald.
Does it say kaboom?
No.
James Robinson.
It says introductions.
Terry McLaurin.
Oh, is it somebody good?
I got back-to-back Davis Mills. I got Davis Mills regular.
Is good. I've been trying to tell you.
Okay.
Buy low, Davis Mills.
So is the introduction Stanford and Houston? Is that going to be is that bang?
Yeah.
Yeah, bang. Whatever.
Yeah.
Bang.
All right. Good.
Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, DJ Chark, Chase Young.
So get this, Matthew Stafford Rams cards are selling right now because he only has one. Like, there's not that many out.
Oh,
It's like a Rams rookie. If
Yeah,
you
makes sense.
Do you want me to keep that one or not then? Nah.
You can keep it out, sure.
All right. Well,
I'll
I'm
sell it
asking you, man.
I'll sell it for $2.
Jamison Crowder, DJ Chark.
Last one.
Taysom
Kaboom.
Hill.
Give me Kaboom here.
King of Cards, Brett Favre. Put it in the pickle.
Give me that one. Let me see that bad boy.
Pretty kind of cool, actually.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Casey, that's got to be worth something, man. Come on.
That's not.
No?
It's just a good-looking card.
Couple smacks.
How about T.
Chicken or
Higgins?
two.
Last year would have been good. Cornell Powell. A little disappointing, just like the news of Trent Baalke being at the newser.
Chuba Hubbard. Who is Joe Tryon?
He's good.
Rookie?
Yeah, he's good, actually.
Okay.
Washington.
Where's number 9?
Yeah.
They got him on Tampa.
No, he went to Washington.
Oh, gotcha. Oh,
You guys finish this show up. I got to
Greg
go.
Rousseau.
The show's got to go.
Show's almost done here. Devontae Smith, rookie card.
That's good.
Sam Ellinger, rookie card.
Not so good.
Justin Herbert. Lamar Jackson. Chris Carson. No kabooms.
Justin Herbert.
Second year.
No kabooms.
Are we
No
selling our
kabooms.
Joe Burrow cards or what?
Let's wait till after the Super Bowl. We'll take the risk.
Okay.
Let's do it. All right.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to be broke.
Noontime press conference tomorrow for the Jags, and we'll have you covered tonight on TV, too, as well. CBS 47, Fox 30. Have a good weekend, everyone. Back at it on Monday to put it all together. Hope you have a good weekend. Thanks for hanging out with us all week long.
Exergen would like you to know about an important new study by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has always known. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate, and they fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy in labeling. With new strains of COVID on the rise, we can't afford to tolerate rampant false temperature readings.